Hello, everybody. Uh, I'm Anthony, and this is Pepperoni, and welcome to another Frenzy Freestyle Sunday. As is usual, you can expect to see us kind of pop in and out as we go. Um, and our topic today will be top seven lists with your host Skids, aka the guy that was barely on the cartoon and who is getting a new legacy figure, and who I'm probably going to get that legacy figure because I'm adding him to my shelf of Lost Light people from More Than Meets the Eye. And fingers crossed, but we might be going to TFCon because I've just looked into getting us a table. Originally, me and my cousin were going to go because he's got a ton of vintage Beast Wars figures to sell. Um, but might make it into a family affair aside from the family that's actually going. Yeah. Uh, this top seven got me thinking. I did this before I was on Children of Primus, and I did this last year on Children of Primus. But once the new year rolls around, I do a list of the top figures of the year. I think I was counting it up with the year. Like in 2019, it was top 9, and then in 2020, it was top 10. So I think this year will be top 11. So, saying that the topic is top seven, I started to assemble a list of seven of my favorite figures that I got this year. It's not what the actual list is going to be, but it started me thinking. I might save these for when the other guys get here. But I want to say just general shout out to Transformers Kingdom for being like the big hit of the year, in my opinion. Several things that are on my best of lists are from that. Not only did it give me just excellent Beast Wars representation via covering like the whole cast, but like basically all the figures I got in the line have been like bangers or at least like base competent. Like I'd say probably the weakest Kingdom figure that I picked up was Beast Wars Scorponok, and even then he's not bad. He's just kind of hello sir.
Yo,
I've just been
wow.
introducing everybody to what's going on with our top seven lists, and
Okay,
Pepperoni's been acting as an extra host.
nice.
Yeah, I was just saying I'm not sure what the top seven lists thing entails exactly, but it got me thinking about the year's top seven figures because when the new year rolls around, I always make a list of the year's best, and I don't know what's on that list yet, but now it's got me thinking.
Well, I believe that the it's called pre-release some new images of some Transformers that are going to be coming out. I can't remember. Oh my goodness, I'm getting old, people. It was just recently. I think about it like a week ago. They're just showing some new releases or new images of Transformers that are coming out. Like for example, like Soundwave. They're like more Cybertronian vehicles. I think it's under the Siege.
Oh
I
gosh. No,
think
you
it's
know what
under the
those are?
Siege line, right?
No.
So
You know what those are?
what?
Those are the Bumblebee people from the beginning of the
Yes,
movie.
that's it.
They're doing everybody. Um, it's Ratchet, Brawn,
Yes, Soundwave.
Shockwave,
Yeah,
Ravage.
yeah.
Like they didn't show Ironhide, but they're probably gonna do Ironhide because they did Ratchet and he was in that too.
Right. Well, no,
But
Ratchet. I think it's a pickup. It's the same pickup as I believe as from the Bay universe.
yeah, he looks kind of like he changes into like a lunar crawler now. Um,
That's
like
when we
like a
sent to Mars.
yeah, like one of those things. Yeah, TFCon December 10th, 11th, and 12th. Yeah, you know, hope
That's,
like I was saying before everybody showed up. Hopefully, we'll turn that into a family affair. um,
yeah, definitely. I definitely want to go. I want to bring my son as well too.
Yeah, I just sent in the application via for Children of Primus's thing, and I already got an email back. I haven't read it yet, but that's just because I got this to do. So
It's Mike
we're gonna.
saying age is a number for us, except for the occasional afternoon nap.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's why I made tea before I started.
the old man nap is a real thing, and it
Hmm.
does help, and so does your break time, your washing breaks as well too. That
Hmm.
also helps big time. So just to let you know, I did wash my hands before I came on.
That's
That's an
always a
inside joke,
plus.
people. So you know what? Since G's not on here, just to give you guys a bit of a heads up. Speaking of kids and all that stuff, I may have to jump off like around 9ish. I gotta go
Well,
pick up my son, and then after that, I'll jump back on again.
that is exactly what's happening with me. So I'm like, hopefully, an extra person is here at that point. Otherwise, the stream's just gonna have to take a break. I gotta go pick up my lovely partner Jess from her job. Like, but it's like 2 streets away, so I'm gonna
Oh,
be
okay,
there and
okay.
back exactly
So
like last week.
so I guess we're gonna have to put intermission.
We should like,
Our show's too funny. You have to admit, there's no other YouTube show that is
yeah,
so how do you call it? Dysfunctional but functional at the same time.
yeah.
Beat
Well, no,
that.
I said right at the start of the show, before he came on, I was like, expect us to come in and out as the evening goes. Well, I like that. I kind of like that. I kind of like people showing up and going and coming and going. It's like you're in a space and people are just coming by. You know?
Hey man, it's mi casa, it's tu casa, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a that's how we could explain this show. And if
yeah,
anybody wants to jump on, we'll give you the link, and you can jump on at any time and any moment because this is an open house party, right?
yeah. Voice of the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know
Well,
what? Since Dee's not here right now, because I think Dee wanted to do like some kind of game show kind of thing. That's why he was talking about the top seven list.
yeah,
With your
uh,
host Skid.
yeah. Skids with his 2 lines on the cartoon, and
Yeah. So you know what? Let's talk about those figures then. Do you want to start off with Soundwave first, if we could find that image?
oh yeah, I could. I can bring these. I can bring them all up probably.
Yeah, let's bring them all up and let's go through them because there's quite a few of them, right? So we can kind of critique it and give our spin on it, right? Because we could verbally talk about it, but it is also great to visualize seeing it because once we critique it, then people are like, oh, okay, now we get it, right? Because they did something really different with Soundwave, right?
Yeah. Let me just. I just give me a minute or two to find them. There, I gotta
Yeah,
go
no
back through
problem,
the news feed a little bit.
no problem,
Uh,
no problem.
oh, is this them? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Wheeljack was already revealed like a couple weeks ago because a leaker
Yeah,
got him. But
let's
all right,
let's
all
start
right,
with. Doesn't matter. Let's go through all of them.
all right. Let me just get a window up here. Just give me
Okay.
one moment. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And then I'm gonna press that button there.
And
And
another
I'm gonna press
uh-huh.
share screen. I'm gonna press share screen again. And then I'm gonna press this button. Yeah, I talk myself through it. It makes it go faster because of how my brain works.
Hey, but you know what? It just shows everybody all the multi steps that we got to do.
Yeah. Okay, so this is oh, they're missing Wheeljack, but I can find him pretty quickly probably.
No,
Probably
Real
because
Jack is there. He's the one, two, three, fourth figure on the top on the right hand side when you're looking at your computer.
oh, okay, it was cut off on my screen because
Oh,
I
okay.
only dealing with one window. Okay, so Voyager class Soundwave, he's the one that everybody's making fun of because he changes into nothing.
Well, he kind of looks okay. You're absolutely correct, but the okay. Let's. You want to start with the figure or the vehicle mode?
Well, I'm going to start by pointing out one thing that makes this understandable and makes the other guys so much cooler, and it's that they had to make these up for the toys because the movie characters that they're based on, they never even designed alternate modes for them because that whole opening sequence was bashed together really quick in reshoots. So people are like, he changes into nothing, but like, bear in mind, they had to make this up for the toy, right?
Right. Well, it is something. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's start with the vehicle then. They're kind of basing that vehicle off of the Bay Universe, those drone planes that Bumblebee was flying.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Like those spaceships from Dark of the Moon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's called. That's what they're supposed to be based on,
Oh, interesting. I've
right?
heard people call it a crab or like a tank or something, but that's the first time I've heard it defined as that.
Yeah. So that vehicle mode,
Hmm.
I get what they were trying to do, but it doesn't help when you got like two fists popping out, like looking like it's gonna get a fist pump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So had they were able to kind of, I don't know, disguise that a little bit more, and then maybe have like two fins in the back or something like that.
Yeah.
Then
Trying is
I
the
can
key
see,
word.
yeah. So then I can see maybe, a little bit of that craft
Yeah.
that they're trying to aim for, because the cannons on the side,
Hmm.
that looks pretty cool on that aspect, right?
Yeah, I saw somebody do a digibash of him into Perceptor, and it pointed out something else. If
Okay.
they could, if that gun on the side of him, if you could put it on top, where that like right beneath his chest there, it would
Yeah.
immediately make it look like something because they turned that version into a tank, and I was like, it immediately made the whole thing make more sense.
Well, there you go. Now the figure itself looks beautiful. I actually like
Oh
it a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. Yeah, like that's the price they paid for the made up vehicle mode is that his robot mode is extremely accurate to what he looked like in the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, that looks. You know what? Like, I have to admit that sound like, forget about masterpiece. I'm just talking about like
Yeah,
mainline, right? Like regular
yeah.
Toys R Us kind of store bought kind of figures price range. That looks pretty sweet.
Hmm.
I think the only other one that looks really nice that came out of that line as well too is the Generation Soundwave. That is actually like a
Yeah,
mobile communication vehicle, right?
yeah,
But this one here looks really nice. I like his gun. I like his gun on his shoulder.
yeah. All right, let me flip over the next one, which I was talking about.
Yeah,
Ratchet, who like looks like he changes into like a science fiction lunar crawler now,
yeah.
which is again impressive because they had to just make this up for the toy. So the fact that it looks so coherent is saying something.
Well, the funny thing is, if dude probably did that with Soundwave, I think that would have looked better, like a better
Yeah,
mode
yeah,
or op mode for Soundwave, right?
hmm,
Because he is a communication, vehicle, right? And
yeah,
the
yeah,
generation line that I just mentioned, right? So that could have been workable in there. But if you look at Ratchet as well too, the figure itself, I'm a little surprised that they put the wheels on the inside instead of the outside of the
yeah,
legs. So, but otherwise, if you look at his chest plate, which I like his
yeah.
head sculpture. Um, Even his blaster, even I think the blaster is a little bit too long, but at the end of the day, it works.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, Ironhide also showed up in the film very briefly as a straight up like the classic way. New colors came, slightly different heads. So people are
Yeah,
just assuming they're eventually going to do an Ironhide of this because they've done everybody else from that little
yeah.
bit.
Well, I'm looking at his legs. Like I like the proportion on the bottom of his legs, but when you
Yeah, yeah.
move up into the middle there, you can see how hollow and thin it is, right? So,
Hmm.
but then again, like how you said, everything was kind of done rush. But for a rush job,
Hmm.
it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Now, next up, Braun. I'm a fan of this guy, and I want to point something out here that
Okay.
was I think I saw it on Twitter. You notice he's like a drill tank, like he has a drill in the front.
Yep.
That's because there was an episode of the cartoon where he popped a drill out of the front of his vehicle to tunnel underground.
Oh, that's a great. That is a great reference.
Yeah, yeah.
Going back
So
to G1, that's awesome.
yeah, so
Good
they
on them.
decided to. Yeah, like this is probably the nicest looking one of the bunch. I think just because it's like I'm like yeah that's an updated version of Braun and he looks real cool.
Well, Braun, see, Braun, the funny part, if you look at Braun and
Hmm.
look what you just said about, being like going back to space vehicles, right? Like the
Yeah,
lunar crawler and stuff like that. If you look at Braun's figure, he kind of looks like he's wearing like a spaceman suit. If you look from it,
yeah, a little bit.
you look at his boots or, his feet, it looks like they're, the boots that like an astronaut will wear.
Yeah,
Even the middle portion as well too kind of looks like astronaut kind of look. But his helmet, it's you look at that helmet, it looks like Darth Vader ish slash Age of Extinction Megatron-ish,
Mhm.
kind of got slapped together there, right? But even though this is bronze, this is almost you can literally swap this with oh, what the hell is his name again? I just had it in my head. Transformer
Uh,
Prime. Bulkhead.
Bulkhead?
There
Yeah.
you go.
Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Uh, Something that I'm noticing immediately looking at this, and this is because of how the yeah, almost the spaceman from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of how quickly the movie had to put these guys together. He has Bumblebee's feet, like because the actual CGI model in the film just used Bumblebee's feet.
Really.
Yeah,
You know what? If they put some, it's funny how you said toy from Toy Story. If they put like two wings popping out, there you go.
yeah, yeah.
But I like it. I like it overall. It looks very spacey.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
I,
a word, but
yeah. Yeah, this
go
is a
ahead.
strong wave of figures. All right, so Wheeljack, and something really interesting they did with him that I want to point out is
Okay.
his vehicle mode, both its wheels and like the front of the car with those like two spikes or whatever. That's like visually similar to Bumblebee's Cybertron mode in the movie, so they made it look like it's from like the same series of fake cars.
Yeah, there. You know what? I get what they were trying to do here. They want to play a little bit of that homage
Hmm.
to the G1, which I get it and I understand that, and
Hmm.
I appreciate that, right?
Hmm.
So the overall look and aesthetic I like.
Hmm.
I can't really bash it because again, I appreciate what you're trying to do, and that's the key word, appreciate, right?
Hmm.
The only thing that I maybe my little critique is his little fins in the back.
Hmm.
I think they're too far apart. Now, maybe that's because of the image in front of us. If they were just a tad closer in, right,
Yeah,
then I definitely think.
ooh,
Sorry,
that's
that was,
loud.
yeah, that
It's
was my
fine.
phone. I apologize.
Yeah, I think that's the angle there because we've seen
Yeah,
like in person reviews of him because this is the one that got leaked ahead of the rest of them.
right.
So I think he looks better from different, but from other angles.
Oh, okay. It's just that middle part there, like his whole junk area.
Yeah,
I just find it like just I don't know. Um, it's not proportionally correct to like his upper chest and down to his bottom, right? It's
yeah,
just too much. It's too much of a V, right? Does that make sense? There we go.
hmm, yeah, it
And
makes
when it's
sense.
when it's when it's just too much like that V shape going in, it just doesn't look proportion, right? It's like watching or it's looking like a bodybuilder, and he has like skinny legs. It just doesn't go right. So that's my I guess my two critiques that are again because of the image that we're looking at right now. It's his two fins in the back, which is iconic, right? It's Wheeljack's look, and his middle proportion there. I think it's just way too small.
Yeah, I'm just gonna briefly pop up. Ooh, whoa, whoa! The quality on that's terrible. At one of the in-hand images because people just took like screenshots out of the video reviews of him.
Oh, I see.
Uh, just gotta get a good copy up here.
I like where they plus. I like where his blaster is on the vehicle. Like it goes back to what you just said. Like you don't have it in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Where is
But
he
his,
here?
but his vehicle mode, I like it. It's pretty proportional. Even like the front hood, the windshield, right? It looks like it's one of those, those doors that kind of like slide, like on an airplane, just like slides backwards, and then you
Hmm.
jump in. And again, the color schemes I like because again they're going back to that G1 homage, right? Which is I
Yeah.
appreciate.
All right, those are a little pixely, but gives you a sense of his proper proportions when viewed from
Yeah.
a flattering angle.
See, the one thing I've always hated, and that's why I don't like. I like the toy, but then I don't buy it because you see his hand without the gun.
Hmm.
Do you see how there's that kibble that's like right next to his hand?
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that. I hate when there's any kibble that's around the hand or block, like there's that square block around, either like it's on top of it, on the side of it, or on the bottom, or whatever, right?
Mhm.
I can't stand that. I wish they could, like, if they put like a little thing there to flip it. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like the hand should just be free. There shouldn't be anything around it. That's one critique I hate.
Yeah, so vagaries of kibble distribution.
Yeah, I just
Uh, all right, all right.
his face is not bad. Staying true.
Yeah, yeah. I believe in the movie those things even lit up when he talked, so they were doing the full thing.
Oh,
But
okay. Well,
like all these guys were only on screen for like a little tiny bit of time because it was just like a bunch of cameos.
yeah,
But people went nuts over them, so that's why they're making all these.
I
Okay,
did.
yeah, next we have the Ravage, and he's going to be a core class, so he's going to be a tiny guy.
I don't
Who's
like it.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be able to fit into Soundwave's chest, so like he
Yeah,
can do that.
I don't like it. Like, first of all, what's that blaster doing in between his legs?
It's probably removable because you can see the peg where it goes
Yeah,
in his rectangle mode up top.
yeah. I don't know. It's probably that maybe it's causing me not to like it.
Yeah, but like I might have his transformation scheme wrong, but I'm pretty sure that at the very top of the cube mode there, that's the
Yeah.
peg hole that goes in. So I think he can just take that off.
Okay. Well, I don't know, because I think okay, maybe it's my eyes and the way the image is. It
Yeah.
just looks like when you look at his head
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at the point of the gun, right? It
Yeah.
looks like that. It looks like one big mouth.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to read it.
Like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? And his eyes are actually that little round circle for, I guess, for his head, to that
Oh
little
my
peg there,
gosh. Yeah, see, I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
right?
it's like where his real head meets his body. There's like a circle.
Yeah, and when I first saw that, I was like, "Is this supposed to be Ravage?" Like, and
It
then I
makes
and then I and then I had to do like a double take. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's his head,
like yeah, like
right?"
right up front.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So like right there where your pointer is, where it
Oh
was,
yeah,
like,
you can see my pointer.
yeah. So you know
Oh,
that
okay,
pointer,
good.
like right there, looks like that's the mouth area. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's the
mean?
mouth. That's the eye. And you were like,
Right.
"That's the
That's the
eye.
eye.
All that is the
Exactly.
mouth." It's like a warthog.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly, right? And I was like,
no,
that's why I had to do a double take on that one.
the face is right here. He's got them little teeth.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like a crocodile's mouth.
So it's called Pac-Man Revenge Crossover. There you go. You see,
Pack.
if they put that blaster, let's just say, on top of him,
Yeah,
then I think that would have been better.
yeah. And last up, we have a weird choice because it's Shockwave, but he's a core class, so he's another tiny guy.
You know what? They built Shockwave in this mode, like his alt mode, like
Yeah,
the umpteen time.
yeah. That's just straight up his Transformers Prime alt mode again. They just like
Yeah,
reused that.
yeah. I get it. I understand they're doing that because they don't want to, make any guns or blasters, right?
Yeah,
Because of all the reality behind all that stuff, right? So I
yeah,
get it. But there's nothing new. That's the same Shockwave. Like, at least the cool thing about it, Shockwave is still looking G1-ish.
yeah.
They haven't changed it or anything like that. And he has the same scheme, the same chest plate, the same head, same colors, color scheme. I said it right. The one hand, the blaster on the other hand, right? Which is great. But the alt mode, again, it's they use that same alt mode from Dark Side of the Moon.
Whack. The alt mode is crap. It's trash.
Mhm.
Trash. The alt mode is trash. Garbage.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. That's
Well,
not a thing. It's like he's lying down.
Yeah.
He got beat up. He got stomped on, and then
Yeah.
somebody put a tank turret on top of him after demolishing him.
That must have been Rickard.
Yeah. Well, I pointed this out earlier. The unique challenge with the alternate modes of these figures is these robot modes were designed for the movie, and no alternate forms were designed. So when they were making these toys, they only had robots to work off of and had to just make up alternate modes for them. So that's why so many of them look kind of weird, because they didn't have robot vehicle
Yeah, no,
modes designed for them.
Anthony, for a smart guy, that's like one of the dumbest things you've ever said. When there's no alt mode at all, that means you have carte blanche.
Mhm.
So if there is no alt mode that you have to meet, that means that like 50%, more than 50%, 75% of the engineering challenge is thrown out the window.
Hmm.
So you have absolutely no excuse for the alt mode not to look like the most amazing thing that this robot model could ever possibly turn into.
Okay,
Because if you have
so
this robot mode, it has to look like this robot, right? If it
Mhm.
has to look like this robot, and it has to look like a certain vehicle in the end, right? Then you are
Mhm.
very constrained in terms of your engineering. So you got to be a real smart engineer to take it from one thing to another thing when there is no, when that engineering doesn't exist.
Mhm.
But if you have a robot and it must look like this, and then in the end, the only restriction you have is that it has to look cool. Other than that, do whatever you want, and you can't make it look cool. That means you're a lazy son of a bitch and you don't deserve to have access to a 3D modeling program, Murder Prime. Let's go.
in Anthony's defense, then, um, it's basically what you just said, D, and what he was saying. They're lazy and stupid, and they should have did better.
Yeah, they did well on some of the others. Like I said, Ratchet was
Well, I
nice, and
agree with Anthony.
Braun's a cartoon shout out, and Wheeljack's a nice looking alt mode. So
It's they screwed up on two figures there, for me. Well, three, but the two main ones is Soundwave and Shockwave. Is there a coincidence? Both of them have
Which
sound
is
in
the
it.
best
I don't
one? Let me
know.
see the best. Let me see the best one.
oh,
Oh, that looks cool.
which one, Braun or Ratchet?
Ratchet.
Yeah, I said I compared him to like a science fiction lunar crawler. Other people said he looks kind of like the big
You guys are
armored
going
vehicle.
at a sorry, yeah. No, I'm like looking at the screen at the same time as I'm listening to you, so it's confusing me a little. But can I?
Which one you want to see?
Oh, I think maybe we have a delay here also. Um,
Are you looking at through YouTube, or are you looking at through or through me?
I asked you guys which are the. Show me what you. Oh yeah, we got a really bad delay here. So I'm trying to say it, but let me state.
Yeah, you're breaking up, buddy. And he's gone.
I'm gonna go with Braun. I think he's the strongest of the bunch. He got that nice robot mode. He's got that drill tank thing going on.
See, I would do this. I like that alt mode, right? The vehicle
Mhm.
mode, but the best figure is Soundwave.
Because of the Dark of the Moon reference.
No, I'm talking about the figure, like the robot figure. Like if
Oh, the robot mode. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
robot mode, definitely Soundwave.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Alt mode, vehicle mode, bronze.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with that. Like this is a wave I'm going to be after pretty much all of, but that's because that's because I'm like a fanatic for the Bumblebee movie, so I try and grab all the studio series things they put out.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I didn't think they were ever going to make these guys because they didn't have vehicle modes and they were only there for like a minute. So like I'm just impressed these all exist. Like regardless of how they turned out.
Well, you know what? Going back to what D was saying, I do agree with them 100% because they had a great opportunity to take advantage of having that time. Because when was the last time Bumblebee? Like when did Bumblebee first came out? How many years ago was that?
2018, I think.
So 3 years they had,
Yeah.
right? Hey, Bill.
Mhm.
Evening, buddy. They had those 3 years to really sit down and say, okay, you know what? Um, we got the figures already because they were on screen.
Yeah.
Let's put some really cool vehicles op mode to these guys,
Yeah.
right? And when the time is ready, when we're gonna do Bumblebee 2, right? Now we have that interest, that whole peak. Everybody's like, "Oh, great! Like another movie coming out. Let's see." And they can introduce these figures, and they'd be like, "Oh, wow, that's awesome." And
Mhm.
that's where I agree with D in a sense that they're a lazy son of bitches. Pardon my language, but it is true. But it all came down to, oh, if they're gonna buy it anyways, who cares? Because it's Transformers, right? Because people are gonna spend money on it.
I mean,
So that's my Murder Prime, piggybanking on D's point.
I'm just never going to be able to incorporate that amount of cynicism into my thought process. I'm not built that way.
Well, you know what? I think at this stage of our life, or at our age, right? We expect more for what we spend, right?
Mhm.
As kids, when we look at it for the first time, we're like, "Ooh, wow, oh, right," and we want that, right? So they don't know what it is. They don't know. These kids don't know what it is to go to work, right? And have to come up and buy these things, buy these transformers, right? So
Mhm.
that's the difference between a 40 years old talking about this stuff and critiquing it versus a kid that's 8 years old, right?
Mhm.
That it's impressed. Say, hey man, can I get this? Wow. D saying, sorry guys, myself connection was unstable, then crash. Gonna try to get into my computer to call back. Don't worry,
Yeah,
buddy.
all right. We
We
got
got you.
time.
We got you. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's I guess that's our critique as at this age. And yeah, we're a little bit more harsh
Mhm.
because we expect more, right?
Yeah, I suppose. And I mean, I was like, what is Bill talking about? Oh, it's probably his leads. Um,
Oh, this was they were a bitch. It's the one I got from. Hold on.
there's a whole separate conversation happening there in the notes, and I'm just like, I okay.
Oh, I just want to I just want to read here. I know we should be talking, but they were a bitch. It's the ones I got from the Give 5 store, but end result was sweet.
Oh, video
Don't tell
clips
me
of
you
his
got
room
them.
build.
Sorry.
It's a video clips of his room build.
Oh, okay. But there's that thing that he's talking about. Give 5 store.
Yeah, that Amazon
Yeah, no,
warehouse
yeah.
thingamabob.
Okay, we gotta start a petition. We need something like that here in Canada. I'm
Yeah.
getting sick and tired of saying sorry or hearing sorry. Okay, we need to change that shit, honestly.
Aren't you tired of saying sorry? Don't you just want to go crazy?
Hey, like, come on, man. Like, it's funny. If you type in when Canadians hear the word war,
Hmm.
we're like, and there's a great video about it too, right? We just we go crazy. But at the same time, too, it's like when things are happening that we can see that we can have this stuff here in Canada and it doesn't happen. We're like, oh, okay, whatever, sorry. Come on, man, open the doors, let everybody in. That's what I say.
I was just thinking about these prequel guys that have come out.
Mm,
Uh, they're invalidating another line that I was trying to collect.
okay,
One of the very first reviews I wrote for Children of Primus, actually. There's this company out of China called Trumpeter, and they did little action figure model kits of a bunch of the Bumblebee guys.
okay,
Uh, One of the first reviews I did was of their Bumblebee right here. And like this is a really nice. It's it's a really nice figure. Like you can switch his head so he doesn't have the mask, and you can give him a regular head instead of the gun arm. I just got him like this right now. Um, doesn't transform, but he's like super movie accurate, right? But the reason I got him was because I wanted to have a look at the rest of the line because they were going to make all the prequel guys, and as far as I know, they still are. They're just taking their time coming out. So I was like, all right, I'll get the little model kits of these guys because they're sort of in scale with the regular figures. Uh, and now the Studio Series is doing them for way cheaper. So I'm like, well, so much for that. I guess I'm just ending it at this one, which is fine because he's really nice, but still, it's just kind of funny.
Well, you know what? It's see, and that goes back to what I guess what you were saying. It's like we got to count on third parties,
Yeah.
right? To create these things, which is great. I like that stuff, right? It pushes people to be innovative, right? And it's fantastic. But at the same time, too, you telling me Hasbro
Yeah. Well, this is
can't
the
do
one I was
something like
just
that?
the one I was just talking about. Like that was licensed, so that was a true third party thing. Like that was official.
Yeah.
Trumpeter was like licensed to make those, so you know, true third party, which is actually a licensor getting the rights.
That's what we need. We need more third parties.
Yeah. Um, More actual third parties. Yeah, because it's funny how that words change meaning over time. So technically, even though everybody understands that now to mean unofficial things, because when it comes to Transformers, that actually just meant when they give the license to make Transformers stuff to a non-Hasbro, non-Takara company. So
Well, but okay. First of all, let's make it clear. I just realized what we're saying right there. Trumpeter is the name of a company that is third party. We're not saying Trump and third party going together, okay? Uh, just want to make that clear. I think Hasbro, and I'm just listening to what you're saying, right? I think Hasbro needs to start licensing their or give permission to third parties to create Transformers that are, you know, elaborate, like how we've seen some of these really nice elaborate third party Transformers out there, right?
yeah.
And if Hasbro can give that license to them, that's another way for them to make money as well too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that also brings in another, like that helps that other niche. Sorry, I'm studying there a little bit. That other niche, like you or myself, that can't afford to buy that $80 or $90 or $100 transformer, but at least is licensed. It's official. You could put the logos on instead of going buy decals and then you got to put them on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think something. I don't know, Hasbro. I just gave you guys an idea. I just want 5%. That's all.
It's
Not
funny
asking
'cause
much.
yeah, the conventional wisdom is like there are a lot of third party, actual official third party Transformers things being made. It's just the officially licensed ones are never allowed to transform because Hashtag wants to keep that proprietary. So that's why you got like little model kits and you got the big 3-0 guys and like the reaction figures and the Super 7 guys.
Yeah,
And they're all non-transforming like Action Master type things is their like common trait.
that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, right? But again, if Hasbro can like license all that stuff, right, or
Mm-hmm.
just sell the license, I think there'd be a lot more companies or company forming and say, hey, you know what? I can do better, or I can do a really cool thing. And going back to what Dee said, you know, getting your hands on a 3D printer and just make something incredible.
Oh yeah, I see a lot of fans do those kinds of 3D printed projects with Transformers, and they always look really good.
Yeah,
It's not finished yet, but somebody I follow on Twitter is trying to make a whole figure of Nyx, the Bat Transformer from the new Beast Wars comic, because they haven't officially made one yet.
right.
And it's turning out looking really great. So yeah, it's the technology is there. It's just not convenient enough for everybody to use it yet.
Or here's another thing. You know, Hasbro can have, you know, submit your project, like the word that you
Mm-hmm.
just said, right? Submit your project, and if we think your project is awesome, right, we'll
Mm-hmm.
mass produce it and we'll give you, you know, some coins out of that, right?
That is exactly what Lego Ideas is. You ever heard of that?
No, it's the first time hearing this.
Oh, because it exists. I happened to know somebody on a Discord group who actually got a set made, but it was like a Sonic the Hedgehog themed set.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like you pitch a set to Lego, like usually licensed, doesn't have to be, but it usually is.
Okay.
And like they have it has to be a workable set, so you have to they have programs that you can use to make things. And then you pitch it and it goes through rounds of voting, and like people, like the general public votes on them, and like
Perfect.
the top, like I don't know, 5 or 10 or whatever, go in for review, and then the Lego people decide if they're going to get made. And yeah, that Lego ideas sets, they're ones that were like made and pitched by people. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's awesome. They should
Yeah.
do like a Dragon's Den Transformer
That's
pitch.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's basically what it was. Yeah, it's like
I should
the
get paid for
one
this stuff.
the one this person on this Discord did was like it was a bunch of Sonic characters, like in a big boss from the game, and like they built it
Right.
up and they pitched it, and then it got approved, and I think it's going to be made like next year. So I was like, that's cool. So yeah, this process very much does exist by this other company, right?
So
Yeah, and they get like, I forget what they get out of it, but like they get stuff. I think they get a cut, and they get like recognition, and they get a bunch of free stuff, and so
like I'm just shaking my head because remember I was talking about like from other shows. I've always said there's there's that cycle, right?
mhm.
And now that Bumblebee is coming, part 2 is coming out. That's
Yeah.
gonna start peaking, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to do any of that stuff what you just said. But once that peak gets over and it gets back down to that bottom part, right, into the valley, right?
Mhm.
That's where you will come up with an idea, what you just said, or what I just said, in the sense of having somebody come in and pitch and do this like this big contest or whatever cases, right? And then what that does, it helps to keep that interest, right? And then it also helps people to get creative and say, hey, you know what? Damn, that guy did a really good job. You know what? Maybe I could do something better. And you know who wins? Everybody.
Yeah. It's funny because we're probably going to enter that period sooner than you think, because Rise of the Beast got delayed a year.
It did?
Yeah, it's 2023 now.
Any reason why?
None given, but people have pointed out in discussions that considering they're still shooting the movie and it was due to come out in the summer, that was a pretty tight schedule to begin with. So it makes
Man.
more sense that it's coming out when it does.
So I was hearing it was supposed to be like during Christmas. This Christmas, well, not this. Yeah, next Christmas. Sorry, not this Christmas. Next Christmas. They were saying.
Oh, see, I heard it was. I thought it was summer 2022. I might be wrong about that though, but it did get delayed. It's 2023 now. Yeah, which if they want to, so much the better. I don't know if it'll really hurt it too much. I mean, Dune got delayed a whole year, and it only just came out now, and everybody seems to have forgotten that it spent a year waiting, and it's making mad money. So
Yeah, I get it, but you know what? It's all these delays, right? And that's where you start, like you just said it, you start losing interest.
Yeah.
Because how many times we could talk about the movie, right?
Mhm.
Because it has anything else got leaked out? I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either. A lot of people are wondering what level of merchandising they'd already done, and whether they were in the know about the movie being delayed. Yeah, a story that I often hear, because I'm not much of a GI Joe guy, but the not Snake Eyes, the old one, the one with the rock there, Retaliation.
Yeah.
That was delayed like a long time too. I think because they wanted to convert it to 3D back in the day. And the merchandise was already in the pipeline, so there were toys in stores like forever before the movie came out. And as a result, they shelf warmed really bad. And supposedly that was one of the factors in G.I. Joe sort of dying for a while until it recently came back. Like that wasn't the only one, but that was like one of the nails in the coffin. The fact that like all their merchandise wound up like stillborn because the movie got delayed a long time. But
Wow.
that was delayed way closer to its release. So hopefully this is far enough back that it doesn't derail any plans.
Well, it's kind of what you just said.
Yeah.
All the product going on the shelf before the movie comes out, and then it's all released. It's almost like what happened to Star Wars,
Yeah.
right? All that crappy stuff that they put up there because of the movie, and they kept us putting up more crappy stuff. What ended up happening? You find them in dollar stores now.
Though, actually, I just thought of something. The positive example of this happening, again, a Transformers thing. The very
Okay.
first 2007 Michael Bay movie, it
Mhm.
was supposed to come out in 2006. It was actually delayed. A lot of people don't know that, right? Um, and it was supposed before that there was Transformers Cybertron, like the anime and toy line, and they were supposed to go straight from that into the Michael Bay movie.
Mhm.
But then it got delayed for a year. But it was early enough that they knew they didn't put any merchandise out. It hadn't been developed yet. So they said, well, we got about a year time to wait. What are we going to do? And that was when they first did Transformers Classics, like the G1 style line, because it
Yeah,
was created to fill.
Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't even. That was created to fill time because the movie got delayed. And that was a net positive effect because like there's a direct line from that to like these generations guys, you know.
Okay, so here's my question then: what do they do now?
Who knows? Maybe they have time to invent something. There's a new show that's going to be coming on Nickelodeon of all things, which means they got money behind it. Nobody knows what that's going to be about. It could be about anything, right?
Okay, this is the first time I'm hearing this because I usually keep my one good year on shows, right? So
Yeah, it's I don't know when
it's a
that's we don't know much about that. It's just
oh okay.
there's gonna be a new Transformers show. It's on Nickelodeon.
Oh, it's gonna be
That's
like
all.
another cyber. It's gonna be like another Cyberverse. Like no offense, but
Probably.
I watched the one episode of Cyberverse that was on YouTube. That's actually it was funny. From the last show when we were talking about combiners, and that's when the Dinobots were able to combine.
Yeah.
And Tripticon was the boss of the Wreckers. I mean,
Mm.
sorry, of the pirate.
Mercenaries.
Yeah, the mercenaries.
Yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, this is where you and me part ways. I love Cyberverse, but
oh my god.
regardless, the new show probably won't be like that because Cyberverse had like a very low budget. The reason people were buzzed about like a Nickelodeon show is because that means it has like network money behind it. So
Okay.
it's you know it's probably going to have more money than that did behind it. Though, like I said, this is all speculative because we don't know anything about like what it's about, what the title is. Just it's going to exist. That's the network. It's going to be made.
Well, the only thing we can say, let's give a little prayer.
Yeah.
Hopefully, is much better than Cyberverse,
Hmm.
much better than the Netflix. Right?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Like, even if they make a G1, like if they just remaster G1, I'll watch that again. I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I would really like to see? Even though they ended it pretty good with the Transformer Prime,
Yeah.
I would like to see that instead. Like get like I know Cyberverse is supposed to be the continuation from that,
Hmm.
but if Prime can just take its own route, like the same kind of graphics again, same characters, and just add a little bit of a twist to it and so forth.
Yeah.
You know,
The,
I would like that. I'll prefer that.
See, Mike's pointing out the fear of it being Nickelodeon. It's going to look childish with loose, silly animation. I'm like, that's a possibility. But if people think about those shows, people forget Nickelodeon gave us like Avatar and Legend of Korra and stuff. So they're no stranger to making like serious shows too. You know?
If that's the case,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. So like hello Optination, but yeah, like it could be anything. It could go either direction, right?
See, look, Transformer Prime is awesome.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shows out of the franchise. I,
It's
I
because
don't.
of that. It's because of that show I got hyped up again.
Yeah, I'm like speaking of like top sevens. Now I'm like if I was trying to do top seven like TV shows and movies, that'd be challenging because I don't know if I could name seven that I regard as unambiguously good just because I'm picky about that. It's like
If I had to rate it, like, wow, if I had to rate my like the Transformer series that people were able to watch, obviously G1 is number one for. I don't know, like if it's like cartoons smash like slash movies, right? Yeah, obviously G1, hands down. I'm being biased. Excuse me, because that's my generation, right?
Yeah.
For you, I know it'd be Beast Wars number one for you because that's your generation, right?
Yeah.
So besides that, number two would be Prime. I have to admit it, man. Prime was what they did with Prime was really good. How they were able to take a little bit from here and there, and I mentioned this already in previous other shows, right? So I'm not gonna dwell too much on that, but I just like the fact that they were able just to nitpick from a lot of the movies and cartoons, right, and make it into one, which I thought it was fantastic. If I'm gonna go see, then I have to go with a movie right next to it, and that's Dark Side of the Moon, right? To me, that was great. I loved it. Loved the action. Loved the storyline. I liked it. It was really intense kind of movie, and I like that. And plus the twist, that was a nice twist there with Sentinel Prime. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, he's being sold as a Decepticon in the Studio Series toy line. So I think like he's still got the Autobot logos, but the box is like Decepticon. Yeah.
See,
So
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
yeah, so I'm like, they're not even pretending anymore. They're like, it's been like a decade. Rosebud was his sled. Darth Vader was Luke's father.
Yeah. But that's cool. Like that's cool they were able to do that, right? Like I see those little detail. Like when you pay attention to the little details, right? That's where I appreciate things. Like him having the Autobot logo, but sold in a Decepticon box. Perfect, right? I love that stuff, right? It just you appreciate. I know I'm just repeating myself, but it's just you appreciate things like that, right? Yeah. So I just did 3, right? 4. Well, 4 will be for me. See, I'm gonna add a video game here.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm gonna add the video game here is because if you watch it on YouTube, like the cinematic clips, right? War for Cybertron. I thought that was pretty cool. Like their storyline. So I guess that's 5, right? That's 4. 5. I'm gonna add a comic book here. What's called More Than Meets the Eyes. The light.
Worst photo ever, but you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, the Decepticon symbol on the back of the box.
Oh, you're gonna put it up?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. What's the? I forgot the name of the comic. The light ship, whatever it's called.
Lost More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah, More Than Meets. It was called Lost. The Lost
Light was the name of the ship. Yeah.
Thank you. So I like that whole series, right? Why? Because they had the Decepticon Justice League in there.
Decepticon Justice League.
Yep, I call them the Decepticon Justice League because they're full of justice, right?
All right. I had the wrong window till now, but just to point it out, you can see
the
Decepticon logo on his box.
That's sweet, man. I like that.
Yeah.
See, I love stuff like that. There's little tiny Easter eggs, right? It's just paying attention to details, right? So that's 5. Shit. 7 will be. What's 7 for me? No, I did 5. Sorry, it's 6. What's 6 will be? 6 will be. People are looking at me like this guy froze. No, I didn't froze. I probably would go with Machinima. Power of the Primes.
Okay, to be fair, I never made it to Power of the Primes, so maybe it's like really, really good, and I just don't know because I haven't watched it.
It's okay, you know what I mean? Like, they tried, which I have to give them credit.
Yeah. Oh, you never even... Okay, I haven't watched it yet, so I can't even comment, but you never even saw the half of Cyberverse with Tarn in it. Apparently, he's like pretty close to his Lost Light characterization.
Okay, so I'll have to watch that one. And then the last part, I'll give it to Netflix. Yeah. Right? because you know what, they had good intentions,
Mm-hmm.
but they just, I don't know, man. It just fell apart at near the end for me. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
how it started, I was like, oh wow, cool. You know, like again, spoiler alert. You know, Ultra Magnet's head's on top of the table and he's talking to it. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like that's cool. I like that, right? But then it
Mm-hmm.
just, I don't know, man. It just it was all, what's that saying? All fizzle, no sizzle. I can't remember.
Those are two Sparkabots, yes, but
I don't know. It was,
all guzzle, no fizzle, some sizzle.
yeah, something like that, right? So that would be my, I guess, my top 7 right there. That's tough, isn't that's bad? Eh? Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the phrase is, so I'm just like, if I go chronologically, be like original series, original movie, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, animated, Prime, Cyberverse, Bumblebee. That's 8. I'll fold the movie back into the original series to make it 7.
Oh, you know what? I'll swap out my Power of the Prime, then I'll put in Beast Wars.
Yeah.
There you
Oh,
go. You're Beast Wars. You're Beast Wars, not the new Beast Wars.
before I forget, I have a very nice visual answer to a question that was posed to me the other week.
Okay.
If I can find the freaking, God, what did I do with it? Shit.
Hey, parents, kids, this is an adult show.
Yeah.
We are going to use words that adults use. Okay. So if you are under the age that you shouldn't be using bad words, this is not the show for you. You should be watching something else. Okay? Now go tell your parents to go watch this show. And hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and please share.
I don't know where it went. Dang. I was going to say, you were asking where comic people should start off like a couple weeks back, and I just got the first big volume of Brian Ruckley's comics, and I was going to try and find it and point to it and be like, right here. So it's a nice hardcover. It's like 12 issues long. It's called The World in You. There it is. As soon as I sat down.
See? It was in front of your face the whole entire time.
Yeah. Here we go. This is Transformers: The World in Your Eyes by Brian Ruckley. This is the first volume of the new rebooted continuity. It's set on Cybertron before the war starts. Yeah. It's kind of pricey but it's a big ass hardcover. There's like 12 issues in here, so it's like thick. And this is a good place to start if you want to get into the comics. And there's been a couple more volumes because like they've kept it going. I've just only got the first one, but I've been reading the single issues, so I have been keeping up with the story.
Can you open up? Can you open up? I just want to see the pages if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. You find a good looking page. Oh, this is a good looking page. There's Bumblebee.
Okay. So sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
There's Bumblebee there on the right of the screen, and there's Prowl on the left. These are just a couple random pages.
Okay, so here's my question to you. Okay, because I'm also a comic guy, right? Like I have like over 1,000 comic books. So I've always I had to like. Let me set up the question first. I've always had an internal debate on this.
Mm-hmm.
And that internal debate sometimes is, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have a hardcover book that has all 12 issues, or the actual 12 individual issues of the comics?
I'd rather have the trade myself. That's what I did until they rebooted the continuity because it's more durable and you get more story at once. I just started doing single issues because I wanted to keep up with the story finally, instead of always being like 6 months behind the curve while I was waiting for the trades to come out.
Yeah, you know, like like at this age, I kind of struggle sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, you're almost like I'm almost like a purist in a sense, like I actually want the comics, right? Mm-hmm. But then at the same time too, it's like what you just said. Like, do I really want to wait? where I could
Yeah.
just buy the hardcover and just read all 12 issues, and then that's it in the story, right?
You might want to shrink my window down because unfortunately I gotta go pick up Jess. I'm gonna be back in like 10-15 minutes.
Oh, I'm gonna be in that same boat.
There we go. I was like, you don't want to zoom in on me while I step away.
Oh, look at this nose here. Where's D?
I don't know, but it's already 9. I gotta go. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, you
Just
gotta go. I'll stay here for the next 5 minutes, and then I gotta go get my son, which he's at his best bud. I don't know. Do we do like a intermission, and then Mike puts on the rap song that him and D did?
oh, they should put on some beats. That'd be great. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Okay, go. Hi, I'm all by myself. Why? So, okay, so Mike has a lot of comic books in his dreams. Man, I have a lot of things in my dreams too, right? So unfortunately, I can only with Facebook new meta, maybe that can come true. I don't know. Here's the deal, boys and boys, and ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I'm all by myself, and really, this kind of sucks when you're by yourself because it's really hard to do things. And not just only that, I'm also on a time limit, which I got to go pick up my son. See, the beauty of running a show and having a family at the same time and try to do the balance can get kind of hard. So, what I would like to say is this: Transformers, well, more like Hasbro, get your shit together. Start putting RD like what my ideas and Anthony was saying, and start doing that. Start getting people to get creative, let them start building things, let them get the license, or let them submit it to you guys, and let them and then have you guys do like a big contest or some kind of show, some battle it out. You start with 10 and you work it down to 1, and the transformation and how it's been made, and you can make that into one big series, and it's not going to cost you guys that much. And I think that would be really cool, and people will have an interest during the low points when people are not thinking about Transformers, right? And another thing is, well, to get your fucking shit together when it comes to stuff in the stores, man. The stores shelves are friggin' empty. There is really nothing there that you can really want to buy. Everything's online that you got to go and order. And again, I'm going to talk on behalf of the old schoolers, or the OGs, the old guys, okay, or girls. We like to do hunts, right? I like to bring my son and say, hey, let's go for a hunt. Let's go for a drive. Or even my daughter as well, too, when she wants to pick up some other stuff. Let's go for a hunt. Let's go for a drive. It helps the economy. I got to put gas in my car. I got to put oil in my car after. There's wear and tear. I got to fix all that stuff. So to move the economy. And I got to go find your shit as well, too, and go buy it. Let it be fun. That's all I'm saying. Make it fun again. Never mind, make big, what's called big better, or build better, or make America great again, or Canada. Make it fun again. Make it fun for these kids to enjoy, what we enjoyed. And that's what's happening right now. We're too busy online, which is cool. I love it. But we're too busy on here, and now Facebook with this whole meta shit, right? That people are gonna start wearing goggles and walking around in their house in their underwears. Get outside, man. Go out there and enjoy and find shit and start making shit. That's how you sell. That's how you make money, by making shit. So that's my Murder Prime for the moment, and I gotta sign off and go pick up my son, because you know why? He's out with his friend. Yes, they're at another house, but they're out and about playing, having a good time, which could be, I don't know, playing with some Transformers. So, Mike, D, I need you guys to jump on, or we're gonna have to end the show. Let me know. Send me a sign. Oh, that's a reflection of my light. Okay, do we got anything else? What age do you each consider appropriate for adult lounge? If there are different levels, what are age for? D was saying something. What did D said here? Okay, I'm gonna comment on this and then I gotta jump off. What age do you each consider appropriate for adult lounge? If there are different levels, what age for each? You know what? That's a for as a parent for my kids, they're not allowed to say, shit or fuck and stuff like that. I wouldn't allow that. I think by 16, not even 16, when I started to use those kind of language around my parents, I was in my 20s, and if I did say shit or fuck, it's because I don't know, because I was using a hammer and I was building something and I hit my thumb, and then my parents were around, and that's when I was fuck, right? And I still get scolded at that age. So I don't know. That's a good question. That's really a personal preference. Me personally, for my kids, you know, I don't want them to using swear words. I'd rather them use other words. But when they get older, like in their 20s, they can say whatever they want. 16, 17, 18. I just hope to be a little bit more polite. I don't mind if it says shit, because shit's a pretty common word now. But the harsher words, I'd rather them wait until they're adults. Hopefully that answers your question, D. But then again, you got to remember, these kids, when they're on their own at school and stuff like that, they're going to be saying things that obviously we said those things when we're at their age. It's just we got to be smart. That's the key thing. Be smart. If you're not smart, that's when you get caught and you get in trouble. So be smart. Anything else? All right. Mike, I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if we should put a pause or we should end the broadcast and come back on. Can you send me a sign, because I gotta go? I'm just waiting for Mike to reply if he does. That's Spin, in case you're wondering. That's the jazz guy here next to me. He's running the stuff in the background. All right. I didn't hear anything, so I'm gonna end the podcast for now. Hopefully, when we get back, Anthony should be back from picking up Jess, and I will be back picking up my son. So right now, I guess we're just gonna do an intermission, and give us about 20 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay. Thanks.
All right, live in the show. I'm gonna need somebody to indicate whether you can hear me okay. How's my volume? We'll be back online in a few minutes. Spin, can you give me a comment to let me know if my mic is okay? Make sure, oh, I was probably covering the mic. How's this? Is this better? Let me know if I need to go grab my Bluetooth, or if you guys can hear me okay as is. Mic is all good? Okay, cool. All right, so I know nobody else is on stream right now. And both of our contestants said they'll be back soon. Yo, that looks kind of sick. It's weird, like when I look at my camera preview before I join the show, the framing is totally different than when I join. It's doing a different kind of resolution. I don't know why that is. I guess because of the stream is at whatever. The stream should be 1080p. Anyway, I can't tell if anything is in focus here. Hey, what up, Bill? Glad you're back. We've been having some technical difficulties, but I got a couple G.I. Joes right here. These are the latest G.I. Joe figures from what line is this now? The retro line, right? Is that what it's called? G.I. Joe Retro? And yeah, I think these are the latest releases. I had these on pre-order from Walmart. Just by accident, I got Cobra Commander in the back there with Starscream. And I thought that looks kind of cool. Spin says, "Hey, Bill, we're still here. The rest will be back shortly. We're taking a G.I. Joe break." Yeah. There's Transformers too. Don't you worry. Boom, bap. There they are. But even so, you do have Duke over there with Mirage, Destro. I don't know why they're all out of focus though. Let's get some extra light. All right, here we got Springer. If anybody's interested in Springer, I decided it was time to take him out of the plastic prison. Let me just set up some light here. Let there be. Oh, boom, we got a little bit of light. All right. RC apparently has defected. Here we also got some Lady J. In the process of unboxing, you caught me red-handed trying to break into a giant Lady J. Now, what scale is this Lady J compared to Duke over here? That's an Amazon. That'd be a handful. You know what I'm saying? You know what we love on this show. Handfuls or more. This is a G.I. Joe figure. Jane, Lady Jane? No, dude. Spinister clearly is not the G.I. Joe guy, which he will admit. He's probably the least G.I. Joe. I don't know who's the less G.I. Joe, Spin or Anthony. I don't think either one. Probably Anthony. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that traitor over there trying to get Megatron's attention. He's not even trying to pay her no mind. He's like, nah, I'm into Alita 1. It's Alita 1 or no one. RC's like, Megatron, she don't even like you. She's not even, come on. She can't take care of kids like me. You know how Daniel loves me? That's what she was saying. Lady Jane. What do you think this is? Lord of Greystoke? That's a Tarzan reference, okay? Oh. I don't remember how to do it. It's been a long time since I swung into the jungle on vines. Here we got some legends down here. Anybody know which specific figures we got going on here? I can't remember, Bill. Do you all? Okay, did we talk about legends? It's probably, I forget. Death by Snoo. I don't get it, but you know, it might be related to Lady J and Duke, maybe. Given the size differential, I don't know. I don't get the joke. It might have to do with the thing we love on this show, right? Maybe that's a. I'm not familiar with the Snoo lingo. Is this Runabout or Run Amok? We've discussed this on the show before. I get them mixed up. He wants to be in the front. So let's see here. Now did Soundwave live all the way to like hang out with these guys? He did, right? Yeah, he did, because he didn't die until like season 4 in Headmasters. So this is a plausible crew. It's a Futurama. Death by being, yeah. Okay, perfect. So I guessed it very well. Bill,
it's a hell of a thing to enter on.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to remind you, and I want to scold you. I don't know if you've been scolded yet today.
Well, you already insulted Cyberverse, so I'd say one time.
I insulted Cyberverse?
Yeah.
I didn't. I was not insulting Cyberverse. It was Orlotti who's insulting Cyberverse, and you refused to defend it. I was just calling you out on, like, I thought, like, last week you were like the guy with like the top 20 reasons why Cyberverse is underestimated, and you're not a true Transformers fan unless you watch it. Then you have a guy come on and say, "Hey, look, I watched one episode. It was and you're like, "Yeah, we part company." Anyway, never mind. Let's talk about another series coming out in 2 years.
I guess I'm too easygoing about people's interests. So if somebody's like, "Oh, I didn't like a thing," I was like, "Okay, better luck next time."
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, like, here's my caveat. My caveat is, obviously, we all bring something different to the show. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want to be Orlotti or me. We wouldn't want you to be Orlotti or me. That said, it's Murder Prime. You do have to occasionally. All right. You don't got to be the number one warrior on the team. But, like, if nobody's home, you know, if you are Perceptor and you're typing on Teletran 1 and, like, all the warriors are gone, like, we do need you to, like, defend the fucking computer if somebody comes in and they're trying to smash it. Right? You can't just be like, "Oh, Shockwave, you're here now. It's just, could you come back later because," and then he, like, breaks the screen. You can't be like, "Well, I'm just kind of an easygoing guy," you know?
Can't we all just get along?
Right. Right. Doesn't mean you need to sound like you've been shouting your lungs out, you know, since last week, and that's why your voice is still hoarse. I'm not saying anybody on the show sounded like that, but there has been a pattern that I've noticed where I'm trying not to make my problems your guys' problems, but it has been the case. So that's why I haven't brought it up. But a lot of times, right before the show is supposed to start, I kind of feel like I'm living in, like, Doctor Strange's house, you know? But only in real life, because there's no like demons and monsters coming to my house, but, like, it's like aliens, like cybernetic robot aliens, and like the head of terrorist organizations. They show up and they try to delay me. Sometimes they try to come on the stream in my place. And so it just makes it difficult for me sometimes to show up on time. That's all.
We all have our responsibilities. Some of us have to drive places. Some of us have to fight terrorist overlords.
Thank you for your understanding. Now you get it.
And some of us have to drive places so we can fight terrorist overlords.
It's like one or the other. And then you think you solved one problem in your life, and then you realize, well, now you got this commute. You may as well have just stayed, where you were fighting terrorists at home.
Yeah, and then when you knock over one terrorist leader, a homunculus snake person takes his place.
I hate it when that happens. And then you think you deal with him, you got Galodulus.
A big freaking pirate on the end of a giant snake.
Now, do you know what a bullwhip is?
Yeah, it's that thing Indiana Jones uses.
Do you know how it works?
Presumably you crack the whip.
Do you know what makes the crack? You know why it cracks?
Yeah, like it's the rush of air.
Correct. The rush of air that is breaking the sound barrier. So have you ever thought about that? Like breaking the sound barrier, what that means is that you're accelerating the air, you're accelerating the molecules of air past the speed of sound. As Bill said, breaking the sound barrier. With a whip, you know how else you break the speed of sound? With an F-15.
So that would make a good name for a seeker.
Yes, it would. That would be dope. Yeah, or maybe a low-tech seeker, like one of these, like one of these, prehistoric or Middle Ages, version of a seeker, because they still break the sound barrier, but they're primitive.
There's a particular seeker that still doesn't have a name. It's the one that the fans sometimes call Slaughterhouse. I'm going to see if I can find a photo. Maybe we can just name
what Bill says, Whip Cracker. Goddamn, Whip Cracker. No, listen, I got some politically incorrect shit to add to this. You got Whip Cracker. Spin says, now are we able to type out the sound of that crack? Thunder Cracker. Boom. Yeah, exactly. Thunder Cracker. So Whip Cracker. Whip Cracker. Whip cream. Whip cracker. No, Crack Ass Cracker. Whip Crack Ass Cracker. It's a white repaint of a cone head. Think about it. Think about it.
They have one of those. It's called Ramjet.
Yeah, but he's a cracker. Think about it. Now you understand that. You remember that Cobra Commander is controversial now for wearing a hood.
Yeah. That they don't make new merchandise of that version. It's the steel face only.
Do you understand why?
Mm-hmm.
Have you put two and two together yet in the conversation that we're in?
Yeah. So you're saying they should do a white repaint of the Cobra Commander variant that won't get released?
No, Spinister has explained it right here.
Mm-hmm.
So Ramjet basically is all this time, like what we have uncovered here, Bill gets it now. Ramjet is a fucking Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard.
Or Or maybe
There's no or. It's been deduced. Get on the page that everybody else on the stream is on, including the people in the comments, Anthony. Figure it out. He's a Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard.
well, there was
That's
that
his true identity. He's not really Ramjet.
there's that period in the 90s where he decided to become purple and blue instead.
Yeah, that's what all races do when they try to say, "Oh, it's not about black and white. I love everybody, even purple people. I got nothing against everybody. I got nothing against black people. I got some of my best friends are black, purple, and turquoise. Look at T2 Ramjet. Oh, look at this. So the Kurds, Camjet, and Crust. Yeah, and they drive. You know what they drive in? You know what car they drive in?
What the?
That's right. Say it. We've talked about it on the show. It's the General Lee.
Oh, the General Lee. Oh, goddamn.
The Grand Dragon. Because I'm a wizard. Oh, there you go. Now that's a redneck that can hang right there. That's my kind of dude. You know what we like on this show is highbrow comedy.
Yeah. Or what about jokes about Highbrow the Autobot?
Right, or just excessively nerdy shit. It's either highbrow or it's dumb but really nerdy, so it passes. Hey, what do you think about these guys?
I think that's certainly a good-looking group of robots. And I think those are mostly the third-party legends, except for those Sharkticons, which are the Target's Return guys.
Can we get a full screen here?
Yeah. Blow his thing up. Blow up his scene.
So to speak.
So, speaking of white.
Sorry, our signal is being jammed by the Ku Klux Klan currently. They don't like our jokes. They don't like us making fun of them. All right, Spinster, can you resolve this?
It's a close-up of Ramjet's head.
Yeah, look, we're gonna put the black guy on solving the white screen.
I've never seen that before.
This is it's what's called a white page. Like when you're gonna do a manifesto, or you're gonna do like an executive report, but there's no prior research on the topic, so you do a white paper. All right, he's just laughing at us at this point.
Yeah. But yes.
Maybe Spin is the grand motherfucking wizard right here. Maybe he's trying to sabotage us. Maybe he's the one sending the Decepticons and fucking terrorists to my house every day before the show. You know, your worst enemy could be your best friend, and your best friend your worst enemy. So said the great Professor Robert Nesta Marley.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Said Wyclef Jean on the album The Score.
It must have originated earlier than that, I would think, but
see, you people always want to take credit for everything. Why can't it be a rapper who came up with it?
I suppose.
I'm becoming concerned about this white screen. I thought it was going to get fixed. Spin, are you hearing us? Can you not do something about this? I'm on a phone, so I don't have control. Anthony, you're.
Oh, stop sharing screen. I get it. There we go. All right. There we go. He's asked. There we go. It was because I had done a screen share earlier in the evening, and it just does that when I delete the window that I was sharing.
In other words, you are the saboteur.
Does it count as sabotage when it's the equivalent of me tripping over my shoelaces?
That's how subconscious racism works. You stumble into it.
It's a hell of a metaphor.
Thank you. I pride myself.
Ravage's function as saboteur. Yeah, we'll blame Ravage.
So wait, you said I got the impression you had a handle on it. From what I'm seeing, we're still on white screen.
Oh no, we're not on white screen. We're on the 3 screens.
Oh, I'm not seeing it at all. This is weird. My phone must be frozen. Yeah. Do you see a comment? I just see it still says like children of Primus, ha ha ha. With a white
No. Try sharing the screen again. We're not trying to share the screen though. We're just trying to get the all the action figures on D's window blown up. Oh, he's gone. All right, time for it to be just me. All right, so let me take this. Let me take this moment to properly defend Cyberverse. First of all, especially when you compare it to the Netflix show, it is funny instead of serious. Not even funny, just fun. It has like a lightness to it, you know? And I'm not just talking about the art style. I'm talking about the way in which it was written, you know? Like, but not excessively so. Like, characters kind of ramble, characters kind of goof around, but like without losing sight of the actual serious story underneath, which is the best kind of writing. Yeah, I'm glad you're still here, Bill. I like that nobody has. No, you know what? You've been here from start to finish. You're the only one. I've come and gone, and well, okay. Also, Spin's like fearlessly working behind the scenes, which I like to imagine looks like a old switchboard operator against a wall of like 12 wires trying to like, connect everything. But yeah, the other thing about Cyberverse is it does what Orlotti even said about Transformers Prime, where it takes a little bit of everything and like throws it together and remixes it, and it references pretty much every major story of the past. Crash number 2, eh? It's a shame. Well, whenever you're able to get back. Yeah, plus the episodes are only like 10 minutes long usually, except for the couple of finale movies they just released. So it's like really easy to just binge through them. Like the first season's got like a full story start to finish, and the second season's a full story, and the third season's a full story. Hopefully I'll be able to share the load when they finally get our internet ran out here. Wow, you just on data this whole time? Boy. Couldn't imagine. Like I don't just need it to broadcast. I need it for my job. I couldn't exist in that setting. But yeah, and that's what was on the air at the same time as the Netflix series. So people would ask me about the Netflix series because they'd hear about it, like, and I'd be like, no, don't watch that. Watch Cyberverse instead. The whole thing's up. Is the whole thing on Netflix? I think it's all up on YouTube now. I don't know. I tend to watch it right when it comes out through less than legitimate means while it's broadcast on like TV. But I think the whole thing's just on YouTube. They've been pretty good about that. The same way they have like the whole G1 cartoon up on YouTube now too, just for free, just for anybody that wants to see. Which is a good way to do things. If they just want like maximum brand exposure. Yeah. Looking forward to the next show, though, because it will likely have more budget. Because I always did feel like Cyberverse was a little bit hamstrung by obviously not having been made for a lot of money. Like the 10-minute things, the fact that the voice actors were all like non-professional people. But everybody did an okay job. There was like there was like exactly one human that showed up for like 30 seconds in one episode, even though they were on Earth. So it's like one of those stories, though it probably has more to do with the fact that the episodes were like 10 minutes long. But most importantly, there is a season 1 episode of that show that I think is one of the franchise's best, because it does a much better job of illustrating the cost of the war than the entirety of Siege did. It's the episode's name is Mac Adams, after the Marvel UK bartender. Oh boy, no option where you live. F in the chat, Jesus. Hopefully I'm hoping they're going to run it out there, like you said. But yeah, Mac Adams was the name of the episode. It's a first season episode of the show, so it happens pretty early on. And it's a story about Bumblebee diving through his memories, because that's what the first season's like mostly about. And Mac Adams was the name of a bar that all of them went to before the war happened. And they show us 3 time periods. They show it before the war, where Bumblebee and everybody was friends, and there were Decepticons there that they were cool with. And then they skip ahead to like midway, like right as the war is getting started, and there's like everybody's arguing and there's fights in it. And then they come back at the end of the episode, and the bar's just been burned down. And it does a very good job in 10 minutes of telling, like, yeah, it's not the end of civilization, but you can see it from the roof. I know you're talking about your internet situation, but that's an accurate summary of the episode I was just ranting about. So, but yes, that is my defense. At a time when, at a time when Siege and Earthrise of Kingdom were being extremely dour and serious, this show was out there just like having fun with the concept, and yeah, that's why I liked it so much. Yeah, and even those comics I was just bringing up, those do a better pre-war story than the Netflix show did. So, yeah, that's my defense of that series. I think Transformers is fundamentally kind of silly, and a media that embraces that silliness without going full tilt into like that Nickelodeon thing that people were worried about. That is, to me, the best version of that. Mm-hmm. 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 There we go. All right. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's because like I try to be aware of the inherent ridiculousness of this thing that I'm a fan of. But I like refuse to take it too seriously, and this has to do with both the way I. Oh, so it is. Yeah. But yeah, I refuse to treat it too seriously, and this both has to do with the fact that like I didn't care if they were like, oh, I didn't like Cyberverse. And I'm like, all right, cool. But it also has to do with the fact that I like that the content itself doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, that's my thinking about that. So I'm going to take a minute to show these comics, which I think everybody should read, because they're like a serious science fiction look at what Cybertron was like before the war. Not as like a fully realized civilization. Like they go into what it means for a species to be able to live for millions of years and effectively not die. The problems that would cause long term with the civilization, that the population increases but they don't die off. Colonialism, birth rates, things like that. It's like a really hard science fiction look at it, and it's different and it's unique, but it's told in a very engaging way. Um, and it took them 30 issues before the war actually got started. And by that time, we'd become fully invested in the world and characters. Oh, you're talking about the comics? So this is the first volume. It's just called Transformers. It started in 2019. The author is Brian Ruckley. It says his name on the back. Yeah, Brian Ruckley is the guy's name. Because it's just called Transformers. That's the easiest thing to search. It began in 2019. Brian Ruckley is the author. The World in Your Eyes is the name of the first collection. They all have names, so I'd say look that up. You know, if you want like a more like a serious like deep dive into what the planet and the people were like, and you know how they slowly backslid into war. Yeah, that's my big recommendation. And it's been pretty consistent ever since. Like I said, we're like 30 something issues in now, plus a couple of mini series, and it's done a pretty great job of like filling in the world and the characters, and a lot of obscure Transformers show up in its pages on top of the regular like Optimus and Megatron guys. They got those nice volumes. You can just read single issues digitally. Yeah. But no, people weren't the biggest fan of it when it came out because it was so different, but you know, once it really got going, I recommend reading it in trade format because initially it was very like serialized, like it was like chapters in a book. They got more single issue oriented later, but yeah, I might as well take the time to plug that. Yeah, and it was like loosely tied into the Siege toy line, so like a bunch of the characters had their Siege designs on purpose. So you know that was kind of a nice little bonus. Yeah, so I guess while I'm waiting here, oh yes, please do. I'm going to talk about top sevens, specifically my top 7 robots of 2019 so far. And these are in no particular order because I literally just picked these today, and I decided to cheap out and tie a few of them. Okay, so first of all, there's a guy that I already held up, and this is Generation Selects Generation 2 Ramjet. And I'm really fond of the Earthrise Seeker mold. Some people aren't, but I really like it because they took the classic Seeker mold that I already liked, upscaled it, added some more joints. That's all it took to get me fully hooked. And I've mentioned it many times, but Generation 2 is where I started with Transformers. So I have like a, you know, it's something special to me. And in particular, oh yeah, please list yours as we go. But yeah, the Generation 2 opening always began with this guy in his purple, specifically fighting Optimus Prime. So, you know, I got to watch this guy get his... Yeah, they are pretty nice. Yeah. But yeah, as the every opening I watched this guy get his teeth kicked in by Optimus. So having a nice big posable version of him was great. So he's the first one. And these aren't counting down because I haven't thought that far ahead. So my second choice is going to be a twofer because it's the same tooling. This is Kingdom Sideswipe and Collaborative Gigawatt the DeLorean because they're the same mold. And Sideswipe is just a great mold. It's like a mini masterpiece, and they've done a lot of great things with it. And I think everybody should own like at least one version. This guy came out in like 2019, so I only got him this year on random coincidence, and he's kind of overpriced, but I honestly had way more fun with him than I was expecting. And the Kingdom version of Sideswipe from the Amazon set, this guy is literally just the masterpiece scaled down 100%. Like, he looks like him, he poses like him, he transforms like him. He's not a licensed Lambo, but, you know, can't have everything. And then he came in a 2-pack with a version of my next one, which is Kingdom Airraiser, a character who didn't really get their due on the show, so it's nice that they got a really nice updated figure in Kingdom. And I said this at the top of the hour. All Kingdom toys just came out really good. So the baseline of them is just that it's really nice. It's incredibly posable. Has a really posable bird mode. I should have put her in that mode to turn it off, to show it off. You got like the unfoldable wings. The wings have like a bazillion joints in them. Nice and easy to transform. Yeah, just a great example of what Kingdom does. And a version of this character as Skywarp came in the 2-pack with Sideswipe. So if you pick that Amazon 2-pack up, you're getting 2 good toolings out of it. Next up, somebody that I haven't gotten around to reviewing yet, but it's sitting in the queue as soon as that section of the website goes back up. Origin Bumblebee, who changes from a cartoon-accurate robot into that flying saucer alt mode from the first episode of the cartoon. And once again, better in person than I was expecting. There's panels here, and he's got a big backpack, but he's really posable, really stable. And just the fact that he pulls the trick off of changing from this into his like saucer mode from the first episode is pretty exceptional. Not only does he do that, but he's not difficult to transform. He doesn't have the usual problems that shell formers typically have. And he makes me think a lot of the second masterpiece of him they did, where it was the same thing where like this is fake and this is fake, but they made him more proportionately accurate to the cartoon. But in this case, they did that because I'll read them out. Professor D says, read the name of the commenter and comment out loud before responding to it. I will do that. Yeah, but back to this guy. He reminds me of the second masterpiece they did, but where that one changes from a VW looking robot into a different looking VW. This guy changes from a VW looking robot into a spaceship. So I think he pulls it off a lot better. All right, how many has that been? That has been 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I got 8 more. Dang. All right. 5. I'm gonna go back to Kingdom and talk a little bit about Chidor, who is in his cat mode, because it is really impressive how posable he is. And you sort of accept with Beast Wars figures that their beast modes are not going to be able to pose very much. But this guy's got all 4 legs. He's got all the joints. He got an opening mouth. I did not expect to like this guy because I'm not a big fan of the character, but I really did, and he stands alongside Airraiser as one of the stronger Kingdom releases. This is the regular version. They did a Netflix version that got rid of the blue on the back of his legs to prioritize the cheetah mode. So it's really about which one you value better. Okay, Ramjet, Airraiser, Sideswipe, Chidor, Bumblebee. All right, okay, so number 6 will be Megatron, and there is all these controversies about tiny leaders, tiny commanders, figures that are undersized. This guy refutes that because he is a big, meaty slab of a guy. Like, he's huge, he takes up space, and he is incredibly posable, and he changes into a really nice, realistic-looking T-Rex. Oh, hi.
Hey! We're back.
Yeah.
From our travels.
All right. It was just in time for me to... Oh, you want me to run down the list? Because I was just doing my top 7. just to... It was just me out here for a while, so I was like, all right, let me run these guys down.
Okay.
And this is in no particular order.
Okay.
Generation selects G2 Ramjet because I grew up watching the G2 cartoon, and I got to watch him get his teeth kicked in every morning as part of the opening credits.
Okay.
So they made a nice posable figure of him. A tie between Kingdom Sideswipe and the Back to the Future Gigawatt because they're the same mold.
Mm-hmm.
This literally just a mini masterpiece and is just really fun to fiddle with, and everybody should have a version. And after that, Origin Bumblebee because he does the impossible trick of changing from a VW looking robot into a saucer spaceship.
Okay.
And then Kingdom Air Razor.
I was waiting for one of your Beast Wars to get in there.
Oh, there's going to be a couple of these. Kingdom Air Razor for finally giving Air Razor the character her due, and also being like a ridiculously posable bird. Like her wings have like a jillion joints in them.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then Kingdom Chidor for being a really posable cheetah. Well, because with Beast Wars, you're used to the animal modes not really being posable. That's like the sacrifice. But they actually managed to pull it off with him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last of the beasts here, which I just left off on. Megatron for being a big, meaty slab of a leader with a crazy, realistic T-Rex mode and like rubber skin and just being a huge slab.
Hold on, which one's that again?
This is Kingdom Beast Wars Megatron.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and my number one is, of course, the one I waited for such a very long time for, Kingdom Rodimus Prime, seen here on his
chair to fire.
Yeah, his relaxo chair, where that if anybody tries to interrupt them, they get the gun.
You know what that reminds me of? Flash Gordon.
Yeah, because I don't think it was intended to do this, but you can flip this open and they can just like sit there.
No way.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite thing that came out this year, just because there's so much in the box and there's so much stuff you can do with it, and the core robot is like mad posable and just so many things. Like there's a lot of stuff in here. It's like a whole set. And then honorable mention would be Studio Series Hot Rod, who is also really great. I just like this version better because I think the increased size and budget really makes it benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're talking about our top 7 figures.
Yeah, I mean that's how I interpreted top 7 when I heard what it was going to be about. So, and these are just my top 7 of this year, because what I was saying was I do that at the end of every year, and I hadn't really thought what my top ones of this year was going to be. But that got me thinking. So like these are just guys that I got this year and I just made the top 7 of them. Hey, Bill Glenn's got his long list. Okay. Skywarp is always on my list, as he was the first one I opened as a kid. Yes, I remember that from the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Thrust is always on my list. Take a shot as well, because he is a different mold and sticks out. I'm guessing you mean the G1s, but Siege Jetfire is just awesome. That's the third one. Yeah, I've heard great things about him. I don't have the space, but everybody that has him says he's like a masterpiece, basically. Origin Bumblebee, because I've always wanted that mode, and I hope they make Wheeljack as well. Yeah, same, right? Isn't he nifty? SS86 Hot Rod, number 5. Yeah, same. Kingdom Rodimus, solid figure in all modes. I like that we agree on so many of these. And of course, my favorite Autobot, Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Yeah, that's a solid choice. I didn't go in on him because I had the Siege one already, which is the Siege one's probably, if I was doing my all-timers, would be up there. I just didn't get him this year. I didn't go in for the Kingdom one this year because I thought I already had a nice one. But that's a solid pick as a favorite. I really like that tooling, because they managed to make a armor up combiner robot that was like really solid in all of its modes. Because usually you assume one of those modes is gonna be kind of janky, but they just like engineered. They just engineered them so well. So yeah, as far as number ones go, it's a solid pick. And hello again, sir.
Sorry about that. I had to remind someone to hurry up.
Yeah, I know how it goes.
What is my top 7 playable?
Yeah.
I have to go. You know what? My first one will be, and you're gonna laugh, the original Bumblebee.
Oh no, that's Transformers.jpg. So like that's about as straight up as you can get.
Yeah, it was him and Cliffjumper. I have to put like 1A and 1B there, because there was just so easy to transform quickly, right? So it was like bang bang bang, and then you start playing, right? The other one.
Got my G2 hubcap here. Same engineering.
Yeah,
So like,
exactly. It's just it was just really easy just to assemble very quickly, and then there you go, right? And my second favorite one will exactly lead right into that will be Metroplex.
G1 Metroplex.
Yep, because of the fact that we could park all the little G1 vehicles in there, right?
Oh yeah, because he was scaled to go with the mini bots.
Exactly, right. So I like that. The other one that I like for gimmick purposes is Shockwave and Omega Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
Shockwave because obviously when you press that trigger, you hear the boop, 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 and you hear and you had like three different kind of was it 3 or 4 different kind of sounds to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Omega Supreme obviously because as a tank he's able to go on the track and go around and blast things, and then after that when you put him together he's able to walk, right? So so that's like 1A, 1B, and 2A, 2B kind of thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, Optimus Prime. Come on, right?
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
and Megatron. Again, that for me, I think my list is gonna be like 14, right? Because that's again 3A, 3B there for me, right? After that, what else was nice for me? Then Devastator, because that was my first combiner.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then good night, and saying good night to my son. So Devastator because he's my first combiner, and the fact that he's there are constructing bots, so I've always liked construction, right? So it's pretty cool, right? Just play in the sandbox there kind of thing, and have them constructing, and then they became Devastator. So for me, that was really fun to play with. Then from there, what's the other things? So that's sorry guys. You know what? I got my kids are starting again, so I'm just gonna put a pause.
All right. I was gonna say my favorites were literally just that list was just things I got that came out this year or that I got this year. I wonder what my all-timers would be. That's a whole other can of worms entirely. Especially because I tend to somebody that buys and sells a lot at conventions. I tend to have things coming in and going out. So I guess the answer would be like what things that stuck around, what I consider to be my favorites.
Oh yeah, I'm back. So Devastator, that was 3, right?
Oh, I'm going to be honest. I was listening, but I wasn't tallying them as I go.
Okay. So
I think that was 3, though. Yeah.
Okay. So Devastator, and then 4 for me after that is Jetfire.
The Valkyrie version.
The Valkyrie version, and even the Thrilling 30. That was pretty cool for me. I actually like that because that Jetfire for me was like wow. It looked spectacular because it was this beautiful big robot, right? That can just transform into this beautiful plane. So I was like, wow, I really liked it. So that's 4. And then from there,
I'll read spins out once you're done.
yeah, from there you can pick any of the Datsun or Countach. Right, I love those as well too. Those were like, and then even the Seekers as well too. Any of the Seekers because it's the same mode, right? So I like those obviously. And then from there again, I have to go A and B, Blaster and Soundwave. Just the fact that because you know what, those two things together, is you had the evil version and the good version of a radio player that I liked. And then last but not least, I have to go with the Triple Changers.
Yeah.
Right, because you got not 1, not 2, but 3 toys in 1. So
always good value
for a person that was on a shoestring budget growing up, right? When those Triple Changers came up, I was like,
I gotta have it. Right. And the first 2, those were 2 good vehicles,
Yeah, they were. Like, listen, even though I cracked on Astro Train, on the last episode, right? But when it first came out, man, him and Blitzwing, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Right. So I saved a lot of pop bottles to get my 10 cents change back. Right. So deposit back. Sorry. So I just to buy those triple changers.
Yeah.
I think that's 7.
Spin, where did your comment go? I was going to read it out now.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Number 1. I'm going to guess these are G1s unless I'm said otherwise.
Yeah.
Inferno. Okay. Classic fire truck. Everybody loves a fire truck.
Oh, what boy doesn't?
Yeah. So what about it? What's cooler than that? A fire truck that becomes a robot.
Yeah.
Number 2, Omega Supreme. Yeah. Nice little base.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Power Glide. Oh, I never had him. I always kind of wanted it. Just a little.
I still have him. I got him. He's
nice.
upstairs somewhere.
Number 4, Defensor. I love Bruticus is the only Scramble City guy I've handled, but I know they're all like really nice and solid. Speaking of which, number 5 is Bruticus. Number 6, Hot Rod. Yeah, I got a G1 Hot Rod over there. It's one of the few that I got that I'm hanging on to permanently.
That could be passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah. Number 7, not sure. When you have a handful, sometimes you can't pick favorites. Yeah, that's why when I was just randomly get these off the cuff, I'm like, yeah, Kingdom Rodimus is at the top this year, but these other guys are in no particular order.
It's funny because you know what? For me, it was always like when I looked at any Transformer, I always looked at the gimmick or the size, right? So like that's why Jetfire for me and Shockwave. I was able to say Soundwave, but Shockwave. Those 2 characters for me is higher on the list because it's like you got more bang for your buck because you got this really. I know. Sorry, I have this unicorn on my head. This this really huge Transformer, and you're like, wow, this is so cool, right? And then the other one is huge as well too, but it makes noise, right?
Yeah. Bill says they were all recent ones and not G1s. Okay, so yeah, same boat as me.
Yeah. And then if you want to do some honorable mentions, I would say like the Headmasters and the Target Masters, because again, that whole gimmick of getting like almost 2 toys in one, right?
Yeah. Did you flip your lid over G1 6 shot if you were still in the game at that point?
Man, you know what? For whatever reason, I was never able to find 6 shot.
Yeah.
When 6 shot came out, and I saw that, that beautiful thing that turned into 6 things, I was like, oh my god, I have to have it.
Yeah, I have a regret.
Could never find it.
Yeah, my regret is that I had one for a few years and then I sold it. And usually I don't regret selling these things, but I do regret that one because he was a good bricky, like 86 and onward. Those guys were just solid bricks, and he had that good feeling about being that.
Yeah.
Maybe when I go to TFCon, I'll find another one. Hopefully, it won't be too expensive.
Well, are you talking about the original version?
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Okay, because they came out with another version of it too, right?
Yeah, reissue. This one, because when I picked mine up, it was at Fan Expo, and this was before there was ever a reissue.
So here's my question: I think I mentioned mine already in previous shows, but what is the one Transformer? It doesn't matter what age you were. What was like the one Transformer that you just missed out on that opportunity? Like you had it in your hand, and you're like, you know what? Not today. I'll come next week and grab it, but not right now. And then after that, it was never to be found.
Oh, that happened to me at conventions. I wanted the Encore reissue G1 Combaticons, right? Because I'd never owned any of them, and they were at Fan Expo, and I literally was like, came back a couple hours later, and they were gone, and they just got away. I never saw them again.
Interesting.
I still probably wouldn't mind that set because like modern combiners are huge, but any G1 Bruticus, I could. They're like this big. I could fit that.
Well, for me, I know I mentioned this before. It was Unicron. They had a
Armada, yeah.
No, not the Armada. that came out maybe about 5-6 years ago.
You're talking about the Generations Unicron?
I think so, yeah.
It was the Armada tooling, but it was a bit repainted with a new
Yes.
head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know the one.
So when that first came out, it was, I think, $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay. And then I think even a month later, it was at Toys R Us, and I saw it on sale for $49.99.
It's not bad for what you get.
Yeah, and I had it in my hand, and I was literally gonna go purchase it, and I just saw like a whole bunch like in stock, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, man, I need to buy something else, right? And I said, okay, you know what, I'll come back next week and pick it up because I just like tons of them. There was just tons of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the following week I went by there,
just
zero.
Gone.
Every single one of them was gone. I'm like, fudge.
They got cleared out. Bill says his cousin had 6 shot. He never owned one solid figure. Yeah, it was solid. Oh, and before that, Spin had mentioned that he thinks his number 7 should be, Brainstorm and Arcana, because got him when he came out and always liked him since. And that's a good reason. That's why I'm so into Hubcap. That was the one you get as a kid, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to those gimmicks, right? Yeah. Those headmasters. Look, another one here, Prime Master Optimus. Again, that was more of a gimmick figure, right? So can't go wrong with those, right? I don't know. People think I'm cheap or something. No, I'm just frugal. I just like, if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I like a nice gimmicky kind of Transformer. Right, and I've always for whatever reason I always was attracted to those types of figures before anything else. Right.
Oh, you see Bill's story there? That's a heartbreaker. He said, our hardware store, Coosters, has G1 Jetfire. I saved money for a month mowing lawns, collecting cans and bottles. When my dad took me to get them, they were sold out. Oof. Big
I feel you, Bill. You know how many lawns and bottles and all that kind of stuff? I did a lot of collecting to pick up some of my G1s. Right? I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. But you want to know something? Those hustles, I have to admit, and I wish they still had that kind of system as of today. Those types of hustles that I had to do, you learned. Mm-hmm. There are good teachable moments in life, right? Because now when you're older, you reflect back to those moments and you're like, oh, okay, now I know where I got my hustle from. Mm-hmm. Right? And, I wish kids had the same kind of opportunity. I'll give you an example. So there's a little plaza in my subdivision where I live. And, I'm pretty good friends with the pizza guy that owns the pizza shop, right? And so what I've done is that I told my son, get on your bike, grab his flyers, right, and start going into the subdivision and start handing them out, at each store. I did that when I was a kid too. And then he came back and got himself a free pizza.
Nice.
Right? So, it's these life lessons, these teachable moments that, I wish these kids had more opportunities to learn, right? After school jobs to buy many of my G1s, which is why I had my personal connection to them all these years. Yeah. 100%. When you buy things, regardless of whatever it is, your car, your house, your jeans, whatever it is, right? As an adult, you appreciate it more because you know the value of the money that you had to work hard for. Kids today, they have no clue. Yeah, it's partially our fault too, right? But, they got to learn. Okay, TF Collect here. My top 7 toys.
Oh, and probably
Springer.
Combiner Wars.
Okay.
Thrilling 30. That's the Wreckers looking one.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? That Springer is nice. Mm-hmm. That's another one that slipped out of my hand as well too.
Got one over there. He's behind too much stuff for me to easily grab, but I support that.
I had the original generation Springer that just only transformed into the helicopter one.
Yeah, the GDO. No, the Universe one.
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah. CW Ultra Magnus.
Combiner Wars. That's another one that I have that over there, and it's behind stuff. That's the one from More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light, and he has Minimus Ambus inside. It's another great figure.
That's another storyline that they gotta get on, man. Because if you look at that whole Magnus, if you go to Wikipedia and you look up Magnus and you look at that whole storyline, that's a really interesting storyline. That'd be something, that's a good storyline in itself.
Yeah, as an inherited title instead.
Yeah. And then you find out all the different characters that played Magnus.
Yeah.
TFA Rodimus.
Transformers animated Rodimus. Oh, that's one I was never super into the animated aesthetic, but I do kind of regret skipping that one because it's a cool looking hot rod. Came with a bow and arrow and everything.
Yep. Actually, you know what? I actually like Megatron there.
Yeah.
That was a good figure.
Transformers Prime Viacon. Now, do you mean the first edition or the RID one? Probably the RID one. Everyone says that one's way nicer.
It is.
I got
that one too.
Oh gosh. Some dust from the lower level. I got the jet version that they just re-released. It's a retool of that.
I got that as well. Bill said he's out. You got to get up early tomorrow. So do I. So Bill, have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back to TF Collect?
Yeah, I'm interested in going down this. I read this slowly. Oh, MP10 Optimus. Yeah, people love that one. I admit I was not a big fan. But I got one of the later runs of it, so he was plagued with QC problems, and that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But presuming you got the early ones, I bet it was a better time.
No, United Jazz. Guess what?
Oh, yeah.
I agree with him because I have the Hasbro version to that. And you want to hear something funny, TF Collect? That was the first Transformer that I bought. When I saw all those, I don't want to say re-releases, but all those brand new Transformer figures.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I just had that was back in 2010. Mm-hmm. And my son was born in that year. And I said, wow, look at all these beautiful Transformer figures that they're coming out with. I go, and they're all like G1s, like, related, like, Jazz and all that stuff, or like Sideswipe and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I'm going to do a little personal collection for my son. That was the excuse for me to get back into collecting again. And that Jazz was the first one that I bought, man, because it was beautiful. It was beautiful. That I have to agree with TF Collector. And his last one is
movie masterpiece Transformers 1 Bumblebee. So it'd be the concept Camaro from the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice big detailed guy. It's a little complicated for me, but that's because I am a basic person that can't do complicated. But I had one for a while, and I appreciated everything that he had going on.
Yeah, that's a good list. I like that list.
Yeah. It's a great representation of the character. Yeah, mm-hmm. I remember I got very lucky when the 2007 movie was the hot new thing. The regular deluxe size, like concept Camaro Bumblebee, not the old one, the new one from the film. Mm-hmm. That was super rare. That got scalped to hell and was going for $1 zillion on eBay. Not a zillion, you know what I mean, like collector markup. And I managed to find one in a Toys R Us randomly and got it for retail, and I felt like I'd won the lottery. Yeah.
Not the best.
Yeah, and this was like right because like the 2007 movie is when I got back into things. So this was like right when I started getting into Transformers again. Yeah, $1 million plus tax. Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's $1 zillion.
Yeah, unfortunately, he eventually broke because a lot of the 07 guys had this gimmick called Automorph. Where when you were transforming them, there'd be gears and like you'd pull a piece and then another piece would move. It was kind of nifty, but sometimes the gears would snag. That happened to me so that he just kind of couldn't transform properly anymore. It's a shame because it was a pretty solid figure.
Really? I have to look into that.
Yeah, that's it's not a guaranteed thing, but it depended on the figure. And it was kind of luck of the draw.
Okay.
It was like his thing was like when you lifted the car chest up, like the back would also fold out. But then because the gears got stripped and snagged, they just wouldn't shut properly. It was a shame. But like finding him was a good early collection memory because like I managed to get lucky and just find them just there at retail.
See what shocked me. Okay, so what shocked me in the sense of, so I've always collected G1s, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, 10 years ago, or more than 11 years ago, sorry, when I bought that Jazz, I actually bought two of them because I wanted to open one up for myself just to play around with it.
Yeah.
I was amazed in the difficulty of the transformation of that figure.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm like, okay, so yes, I'm 45 years old. So I was 35 and I'm saying to myself, like 35, 34. And I was saying to myself, like, holy shit, how does a kid was able to play with something like this? Was the amount of transformation to finally to get to the robot or into the op mode, where I was growing up, transformation was bang, bing, boom, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So
these ones these days are more interesting if you're gonna noodle around with them over a long period of time.
well, it's funny because then I was talking to another buddy of mine that collects, and he said that the cool thing about these transformation that is a little bit more difficult is that, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I had to watch videos sometimes, right?
Oh
to
yeah,
figure it
I've
out,
had to
right?
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was telling me that the kids today, or at that time, or even today, they actually like the difficult part of transformation because think of like a Rubik's Cube,
Yeah.
right? So it was just that whole combination or puzzle of, from start to finish.
Yeah. Some people are just like talented enough to just figure it out on like sense.
We see Mike, see what's been saying here.
Yeah. G1 Toys 3 to 7 newer transformation. A large number of steps. I have a few of the movie versions. I don't transform them. That's a thing for me. I like when things are like a 6 out of 10 on the complicated scale at the most.
Right.
A few years, and it's not me. It's me getting older that did that. Like I used to mess with the more complicated masterpiece guys, but nowadays I'm like, I don't want to spend half an hour transforming something. But doesn't matter. I don't
Or watching
like
a video.
Yeah, or watching a video to figure it out. That's why I got out of the masterpieces. Why I couldn't get mess with the movie guys either. The movie masterpieces, but like I've just been slowly transforming Origin Bumblebee here, and like this is complicated, but it's intuitive. I don't need to look up a video to figure it out, and yeah.
Sorry.
It's complicated, but it's intuitive enough that I don't need a video to figure it out, and everything works. Nothing pops off. So like that's to me the definition of like a good level of complicated.
Yeah, you know what screwed me up? The movie, so Dark Side of the Moon, Shockwave.
Oh yeah.
I had no clue.
Yeah, well, the
I had honestly, God, okay. I literally like I like look, I can't even talk right now. That's how complicated it was.
Yeah.
Beautiful figure. Saw it on the shelf, and I was like, "Wow, this is a beautiful figure of a Shockwave." Like this, Shockwave is my favorite character, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was like, "This is beautiful. I gotta get this." Obviously, I bought two. Took it out of the box. I looked at it, and I'm saying to myself, "What the hell does this thing transform into? Where do I even start?" Right? I just start bending things, right? I go, does this go here? Does this go here? And when I was sitting done, it was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Right. And then that's where the YouTube video came in and helped.
Yeah, here's a spaceship mode, by the way. Episode 1 vehicle. Yeah, and peek under the hood. This is what it looks like from the bottom. So with his stuff folded up.
But you know what? That looks nice. That looks well organized.
Yeah, and
the bottom part.
Yeah, it's intuitive, which I appreciate. And like it could this could have easily been a nightmare of a transformation, because like if you look at the top, it's just positively spider webbed with cracks because of how it splits off into panels and things, right? But you know, they managed to make it so that it's intuitive and everything clips together, and you're not trying to struggle with anything.
But I could forgive that.
Yeah,
Like I could forgive, I could forgive all the little lines in there, all that spider web that you're talking about. I could forgive that, right?
Oh yeah, me too, and I do.
But if the bottom part was like this whole huge, like you could, how do I say, like a big box under it, and then you can literally see his arms, his legs, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Here, it's all tucked away nicely. So when you hold it onto the side, can you do that for me? Just like hold it on the side. There, you don't see it.
Yeah. And honestly, if I'd had the foresight to turn his head around before I started, I probably could have hid that too.
Yeah. That's okay. That's an homage to the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Right.
Yeah. Like that's a good level of complicated. I think the worst case of complicatedness that I ever ran into was I had for a while movie masterpiece Optimus, like his 07 design.
Right.
Never managed to get that into truck mode, and that's the only time I was never able to, not even once. Like I looked at videos and they were like, this is really difficult. You got to do this before this and this. And I just kind of got him into sort of his truck mode and then just left him in his robot mode after that, and then just like sold him at the next convention. I was like, he looked lovely because that's a good design and it's a nice big detailed version of that design, but he just couldn't do the thing. He was too complicated, you know?
Now, see, so my question is this. I know probably do rip it to me here, right? Because he loves complicated stuff.
Oh yeah, just call us weak.
Yeah. Well, screw him.
We got you on tape.
So what happened is that I love D. But does it really need to be that complicated?
Yeah.
Does it really like, okay, I know there's okay, maybe there should be maybe two markets in a sense of complication, not as much complication for people like simple-minded like me and sophisticated like D.
I've always cited, and I've brought them up before, I've always cited Beast Wars Basics as like the gold standard for like simplified without like dumbing the figure down, because a lot of these guys were like one-step changers, but they didn't like sacrifice looks or posability, right? Like this is original Rat Trap, this is the reissue, and you just pull on his tail and he's done, right?
Yeah.
And he's still got proper ball joints and a hidden weapon and everything, right? So they just made a complete figure, and then you know, they don't all need to be one-step changers, but this is like a good example of them like making it simple without like making it dumb, you know?
Oh, you know what? If you're gonna say that, then the best ones for me are the jump starters.
Oh yeah.
You roll them, and they jump. You roll them, they start and jumped. There you go. TFC Collect. My most complicated is RD2001 Dominus Prime and Ultra Magnus plus Omega Prime combination mode. I love those characters. They are a pain to transform. Does someone have that?
No, but I was gonna say, like, this is why I appreciate, because I had them as a kid. Okay. Separately, they were great figures. I was never able to properly combine them into Omega Prime, but also one of the reasons was Omega Prime, the combination was very unstable, and this is one of the reasons why I love like the Siege / Kingdom Ultra Magnus mode so much, because it's the same principle of there's a little guy in the middle and you armor him. Almost sorry, it's good.
And are you that upset?
Yeah, and you little guy in the middle, armor him up, and I can take him and I can shake him, and everything stays in place. Whereas on Omega Prime, this is the exact same kind of thing. Little guy, cover it in Ultra Magnus armor. If I shook it, all of its stuff would have gone flying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was a really nice looking figure, not a stable combination at all. Couldn't really stand up very well. Stuff loved to fall off. people really love that thing. As a kid, I just couldn't get with it just because it was really hard to do this. And once you got it together, it didn't want to stay together.
See, you know what? It's funny because I actually like that Ultra Magnus that you have in your hand,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And go ahead, sir.
And me too. The reason I like him is because I remember Omega Prime, and I'm like, this is that type of thing realized well, you know?
So for me, going back to G1, I never really liked that Ultra Magnus. I love the character, but the actual figure I didn't like because of the fact that it was like you're putting Optimus Prime into this armor, and the armor itself didn't really move around except for his hands.
Yeah.
Like there's like all these pieces that you had to put on, and like for me, it's like, you know, you didn't see that in the cartoon, right? And you're seeing something totally different with a toy, right? And that's why, going back earlier, what I was saying, you know, Magnus itself is an interesting character, right? His origins and all that. And it would have been nice to, maybe if they did, you know, in the G1 cartoon, if they had probably took that storyline and brought it in there a little bit, who knows? Then that could have justified the reason of having this little transformer going to another body armor transformer, right?
Yeah.
Then I never was really into that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been interesting if it was like played well, but
yeah,
it wasn't. I don't think. But you know, until you know he showed up, and the deal with him in Lost Light with Minimus Ambus, that was sort of like them actually turning it into like a plot point in an interesting way.
Yeah, it was, and that's why when I saw, you know, what's called Robot in Disguise, like the cartoon, you know, it had a good concept, but it was
the 2001 anime.
Yeah, the 2001, and like I saw it, I watched it. You know, it had a good concept, but everything was like, but everybody teamed up, and I was like, okay, are they trying to replace Combiners with this?
Well, there was like 3 combiner teams on the show, right?
Yeah, like everybody combined together. You know, I was like, okay, so do they share like a special spark with each other, or are they replacing this with Combiners, right?
Yeah, there's an episode where they I think it was when the train bots were introduced, Rail Racer, and then the 3 car brothers were like, hey, how come we can't do that? And then one of them was just like, maybe they're double jointed or something. This show had a lot of dumb humor, but like the good kind of dumb humor.
Yeah. No, but it made sense, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, again, those little details that I appreciate, right? Hey, so can I ask you a question?
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Right. So when we were off, we had to go do our thing.
Yeah.
What happened in the middle?
I don't know. When I came back, D was up there and he had a bunch of his New Age legends stacked up and was talking about them.
Okay. So where'd he go?
I think he got disconnected somehow.
Oh.
He's just like, I don't know. Don't. It'll be up on you. Look at the replay later. Look at the replay tomorrow or whenever it goes up.
Okay.
What is it? Usually it goes up tomorrow, right?
So
pretty quickly.
So basically, we're almost doing like a Robot in Disguise kind of moment where we have like our 2 separate shows in one.
Yeah. It's a variety show.
Exactly.
The Children of Primus Variety Hours. I say hours because it's more than one. So
I know. I would like to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, I suppose.
Wrap it up soon because I gotta wake up just like Bill. I gotta wake up pretty early tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, it's called life.
Mm-hmm.
It's called work. It's called paying the bills, paying the mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about doing this show is that, you know, it helps us to get away from that and talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah, I always wind up with a table full of robots next to me, and I just start noodling around with them while we talk. So that's always good.
Yeah. That's the best part of it, right?
Yeah. Speaking of transformation, shout out to Netflix Soundwave for basically just having the G1 transformation again. Just with a couple, they added like a couple extra steps, but it's pretty much just if you had the old one, you know how this goes. You know.
Yep. The legs flip, the arms flip, and the head
Yeah.
flips, and that's it.
Yeah, they added a waist twist. I think that's the only major change. I think, and his head like properly hides away behind a panel instead of just being there. But like that's it. That's the only changes.
Okay, so here's my question to you here, right?
I'm gonna do this right here while you're talking. Go
No
ahead.
problem. Why is it that every Soundwave, every Soundwave that has come out, you know, the eject or like his chest plate is always sticking out.
That's just because Sound Blaster retooled the Sound Blaster version of Soundwave, from Headmasters, was retooled to have that so it could hold 2 tapes, and a lot of the Soundwave reissues tend to be based off of that tooling instead of the original.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I never really liked it. Or like, you see that chest plate that he has right now, with all that gold around it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy about that.
Oh, you're just talking about the design in general.
Yeah, like just like it's like it pops a little bit more, and then just the design of it, like the gold and light and the lines in it and everything. I was never fond of it. Like the only other chest plate I did like is that when in Generations, where he's at mobile, communication vehicle. Yes, I had mentioned this before, but I'm talking about the chest plate now. That chest plate was fine, right? It made sense.
Mm-hmm. I was trying to keep him on screen while I do the thing.
Right. Okay, cool. But like every other Soundwave that I've seen, or Sound Blaster, or like his twin evil brother there, they all pop out. Like it comes out a little bit more than it should have. I don't know. Instead of being flush.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's a Sound Blaster thing. I guess at that point they weren't caring about like accuracy to a tape player, so they were just like, just let him be able to hold 2. Just gotta get his gun out. There we go. And yeah, there we go.
In my face.
Blow the other one up.
And
there
it's
we go.
blown up.
Yeah. This guy's pretty great. Like you got to pay aftermarket markup for him because he's scalped to hell. But I'd say he is actually worth a little bit extra because he is pretty much just a masterpiece scaled down.
Like I like the figure. Don't get me wrong, eh? Yeah. Like I like the figure. I like the details in it. It's just a chest plate. I think the chest plate. When you look at it, like your eyes just gravitate towards that first.
Yeah.
Right.
This one's pretty flat though.
Yeah, hold on. It's flat, but look, if you look at the blue part, it sticks up more than it should. I don't know. That's just
what is he can do this.
That I like.
As long as he can do that.
Mine broke.
Yeah.
Like my original one.
This guy's just like.
Was it?
Yeah. This guy's literally like he's even pretty much the same size as the G1 guy. They're just like, what if we added joints and show accuracy and kept everything else the same? That's all that's going on with him.
Hold on, my daughter's crying in the background, so I had to put it on mute for a sec. Every night, man.
It does. That's parenthood.
I know.
I know a version of that, except when my small furry child gets on my shoulder, everybody goes, "Aw." But yeah.
Oh, did Anthony freeze there?
Are you gonna watch it?
Does it stick out compared to the original? See, I had a G1 Sound, a really sticky outy chest plate because it was 2 tapes thick.
Okay, there we go. You were frozen for there
for a half second.
Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, it's impressive. Yeah, I found it pretty impressive. Chest and yeah. Anyway, this one's got laser beak gun Ravage.
See, you know what? Like, I have
like
that stuff on.
Shout out to the fact that this guy pretty much just changes the same way as the G1 guy, just with like 2 extra steps.
Well, yeah, I like the fact that how Laserbeak could go on his arm like that. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. It's like sort of a undocumented coincidence because he's got Laserbeast got a little tab there because you're meant to turn him
Yeah.
into like a shield in his tape mode, but he just happens to have a port on his arm, and like a few other Siege figures can do that because they happen to have ports in places where you can like perch.
Oh, does Megatron have the same thing too?
I think so. Let me just
He did that a lot in G1 as well, right?
yeah. Let me just pull him off the shelf right here. Yeah, I think so. It's got a port right there. Let me just
there you go.
Just get it set up.
That's a good homage.
Yeah.
Again, details. See, details. I like that.
Let me just get him there. There you go. Exactly like the start of the movie.
See, beautiful. Because that I think Laserbeak was one of Megatron's favorites, right?
Yeah. Well, I in terms of like 80s cartoon logic, by going by those rules, he was probably the most successful Decepticon because his job was to get the intelligence, and he always got the intelligence. So
Yep.
he was the best. He was the most effective at what he did.
Well, speaking of intelligent,
Hmm.
I need to put this brain to rest so it could be working tomorrow. So we're gonna end off a little early, and I do apologize for
This
today's
is
show.
this is when we're supposed to end off, so we're ending on time.
Oh, right. Well, we're 18 minutes early, but that's okay. Yeah, don't we finish at 11?
It was the original idea was like finish at like 10:30.
Yeah.
We just always run over it.
Yeah, we're no. Like I said, we're the most functional show you're ever gonna meet. You know what? I'm gonna copyright that.
The most dysfunctional show.
Yeah, I'm gonna copyright that. So it is November 14th at 10:42 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna put that on the T-shirt. Chosen of Primus, the most functional show you can ever watch on YouTube. There you go. That should be our slogan. Yeah. So let's wrap some. I know organizing that's exactly. So let's wrap things up. Let's talk about your. So we're good to you're good to post for Monday, right?
If the site is operational, when I last checked, our classifieds are operating again, but the other side is not quite together. But I tell you, I've still been writing and photographing, so I have a big backlog ready to go. And in fact, as soon as I can get it up there, Netflix Soundwave is actually the first one I have scheduled. So we're going to take a nice detailed look at this guy.
Okay, so TF Collect, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Always, even though you enjoy our discussion, you know what? We always appreciate you coming on and watching our show.
Yeah.
And listen, we love to give credit to everybody. Again, you, Bill, Calvin, the rest of the crew when you guys participating. Love it, man. And if you could again hit the subscribe button. I'm starting to learn from watching the other YouTube channels. So hit the subscribe
like, comment,
button,
and subscribe,
and comment and subscribe, so you can see the algorithm and all that blah 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 blah. Okay, so or I could pull a D. Don't do it. Don't press that button because he's using reverse psychology. All right. So Spin saying the website is still being worked on, so in a few more days. Fortunately,
I got my stuff.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say sorry. Unfortunately, our servers has been, I guess, on the glitchy side of things, and Mike's been working really hard to get that all said and done. So if anybody, don't worry, everything's still there. It's not showing, and for whatever reason, we don't know why, and we're gonna figure that out very very soon. So shout out to Spin for working on that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I imagine him like we started chatting about December 10, 11, 12. Can't release details yet. Ooh.
What's happening on the 10th, 11, and 12?
The thing that usually happens in the summer.
You talking about July? But I don't know. I don't know. So we'll get back to you about that next time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you still said you wrote some stuff. So what have you? Okay, so what are we looking forward to?
Okay, like I said, Netflix Soundwave.
Cool.
It's all stuff I happen to have grabbed this session. Origin Bumblebee.
Beautiful.
Somebody I didn't talk about. I have him in a sitting down pose. Now I'm gonna see if I can get the whole diorama up here. The exclusive Beast Wars Ravage with his G1 Ravage and his little diorama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he's a Panther person now. It's the G1 guy, but he got rebuilt into a dude.
Well, yeah. Well, that's from Beast Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy was like a convention exclusive.
I still can't get over that. You know what? I can't get over. I remember that episode so clearly.
See, those are, in my opinion, some of the strongest episodes of the franchise. That whole season, and particularly how it ended.
Well, yeah, because they were talking about, they were going back to the whole, G1 guys, right? But I was like, that's Ravage? He has like a Russian kind of accent there, right?
Yeah, you're right. Mike Spin says he's a Thundercat. Yeah, he is a Thundercat.
Yeah, he's a Thundercat. There you go. Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. I will say the reason he had a Russian accent was because his role in the story was, and this is like writer commentary. They said later. A play on Cold War spy films about Russian agents that come over and work with the Americans to try and solve a problem. So he was, because it was about like he's a representative of the government in that, and he's come over there because Beast Wars Megatron is like a rogue actor that his government doesn't support. He's like, I'm going to come work with you to bring him in. So that's why they gave him a Russian accent. It's weird and obtuse, but there were reasons, like genre reasons.
But the funny part is, again, going back to details, right? So if you know about those details that was happening back those days, and you're watching that, you're like, oh wow, that's pretty cool, man. I like how they threw that in there, right?
Yeah.
So we got all that stuff you're going to be writing about.
Yeah. Those are the three that are locked and loaded. And this week I'm going to talk about my next beast guy, Kingdom Rhinox, who's people wonder about him because a few years ago they did Thrilling 30 Rhinox. So people, and who was the same scale and everything. So people are like, is this one better? Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out. I have the other guy, like, not on hand, but he's in a bag over there. So I'm like, I'm going to compare them directly, Yeah, that's all the stuff that I got on deck. And it's ready to go when the space is ready to go,
Cool. Well, when that's all ready to go, people, please check out childrenofprimus.com, where we have our classified. We can post a whole bunch of stuff that you want to get rid of or you want to buy. It's up to you. From figures, books, DVDs, video games, statue, bus, whatever. It's all there. Use it. It's free. I don't know. How many times have I said this already? How many shows have we already? And I keep on saying, it's free. Use it. What's wrong with you people? You don't like free things? Like, seriously. Use it. What the hell, man?
They say nothing in life is free, but this actually is free. This is the exception.
I know, man. Like, seriously. Rate, comment, subscribe to all of our channels.
Yes.
So, I guess YouTube, Twitch, Facebook.
Are we on Twitch?
Yeah, we're on Twitch.
It's news to me.
That's that purple thing. That's that purple icon one. Yeah.
Okay.
So Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. There you go.
Poggers.
Exactly. And then hopefully whatever other platform there is, I guess we got to go on. We'll go on it. So give us some feedback as well too. What would you like to see in the future, or what you want us to talk about? And or if you guys want to join, join. Put a comment in there. Say, hey, we want to join the discussion, and we'll send you a link, and then you could jump on. We've done it before. Ask Bill. Bill's been on here. We like to get other people on here as well too, because originally this show was supposed to be on Discord, or Treehouse or whatever it was, and it was all about just people just getting together and talk about it. And because some people have Android, some people have Apple, that's why we weren't able to do it, and so we decided to do this. So again, this ties in within December 10th, 11, and 12. All I'm saying, there you go. So please subscribe, like, hit whatever. Well, hit the comment, hit the bell notification, whatever it's called. Do all that stuff. Help us to help you. Okay. And what do I got to say to sign off? Anything new with me? Not really. I'm just waiting for the 10th, 11th, and 12th. See what's happening then.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening to us. And thank you so much for talking with us or commenting with us. Appreciate it. And that's what the show's all about. It's about appreciate. All right. So I'm going to say goodnight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say peace. I'm going to say roll out. And Nance, you got the last word.
Till all are one.
Awesome.
And we are done. Have a good night, everyone, and thank you.